Pause the music. True Crime Daily. Like I mentioned before, we're going to start off with this first case tonight. You could just read the title, because we're going to Charleston. It says, woman indicted for allegedly drunkenly crashing car into couple on wedding night, killing bride. True Crime Daily. This is posted September 22nd, 2023. And we are going to Charleston, South Carolina. And it says, a grand jury returned a 4-count indictment against a 26-year-old woman who allegedly drove her car into a golf cart transporting a couple on their wedding night, killing the bride and injuring 3 people. Charleston County court records show Jamie Komorowski was indicted Wednesday, September 20th, on 1 count of driving under the influence resulting in death, 2 counts of driving under the influence resulting in great bodily harm, and 1 count of reckless homicide in connection with the death of Samantha Hutchinson. So, Komorowski remains in custody at the Charleston County Jail, where she is being held without bond, according to Komorowski's arrest affidavit. On April 28th at 10:16 p.m., Foley Beach police were called to the 1200 block of E. Ashley Avenue regarding a car crash with injuries and found a golf cart on its side against the Toyota Camry. The responding officer observed multiple victims who were laying throughout the crash site, including new bride Samantha Hutchinson and her husband, Eric Hutchinson. I don't think that is a typo. If it is, it's Eric Hutchinson, but if it's not a typo, it's Eric with an A. The victims were reportedly in and out of consciousness. The affidavit says Samantha Hutchinson wasn't breathing and didn't have a pulse. The officer attempted life-saving measures on her, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. Komorowski, who was reportedly driving the Camry, did not sustain any injuries in the crash. According to the report, the officer smelled alcohol on Komorowski's breath. When he asked her if she had anything to drink, she allegedly said she consumed a beer and some tequila about an hour before the crash. The officer reportedly asked her to rate her intoxication on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most intoxicated, and she reportedly said she was an 8. The officer tried to conduct a sobriety test, but Komorowski allegedly strongly refused and became uncooperative on scene. WCSC TV reports Komorowski's blood alcohol level was a 0.261, more than 3 times the legal limit. She was also reportedly speeding. No, I guess not. I guess it is with an A. So, Eric Hutchinson filed a wrongful death suit against Komorowski and several bars in the area where the accident occurred, according to WCSC. The suit reportedly accuses Komorowski of having a booze-filled day at bar hopping prior to the crash. Damn. I'm not 100% sure if you can... sorry. I'm going to put myself up a little bit. I'm not 100% sure that you can have a lawsuit against someone for like a bar in this case, because I mean it's a private establishment. The whole purpose is serving alcohol. I guess you're supposed to be responsible enough to not drive. I'll be honest with you. I've mentioned it here before on the show. I don't drink at all, so the notion of people drinking and then getting into vehicles and then not only getting into said vehicles but driving them to other locations or home under the influence is not only in and of itself a problem, because I apologize for the background sound again. It's I don't know what's going on. Very big complex, but they choose right in front of my, like, it has to be right outside of this window, not any other window in the whole complex. No, see, it has to be right outside of this one, because they have to know that someone's recording a video, so they have to scream right outside this window. Love it. Sorry. Okay. as I was saying, I I I don't understand it. It's not only a problem for the person that's driving. Like, you're putting yourself into danger. Um, you're also putting someone else into danger. There's been how many countless cases of random, completely sober people driving themselves from one point to another, and they like a drunk driver crashes into them, and it causes them to end their lives. I mean, just recently it happened here in town where I live in Northern California. So yeah, I anxious for the future where it's law that vehicles have to have breathalyzers for them to be able to turn on. There are cars that are like that. That should be a standard. I don't understand to what point is it freedom? Like, where does freedom end and the lives of other people and, you know, consideration towards others begins? Because while you know, they could argue that it goes against like personal freedom and whatnot, but to be quite honest with you, you shouldn't be drinking and driving in the first place. Like, that's the whole point. Why vehicles don't have this is a mystery to me. That shit should be a standard. That should have been a standard in cars since the beginning of their creation. You can't. The car won't turn on unless you blow into a breathalyzer. It only turns on if you blow into it and you get a 0.00 every single time, dude. And I don't, it would help. It would help greatly. And human beings, they figure out ways to be able to circumvent things and not have to follow rules to the T, but it would lower the amount of accidents that happen. I don't think that there would be such a prevalence with drunk driving and these type of accidents. I mean, this one was done on purpose, I think. I mean, we're going to look into a news report and whatnot. I think this was done on purpose. Maybe not. If it wasn't, wow. I mean, 0.261 is pretty high. I think it was. Maybe there's something that this isn't explaining 100%, but if not, then wow. That person drank on purpose. Like, I'm gonna get fucked up. If you're watching this live stream, just know that I personally think if you do these type of things, you're an extremely irresponsible person and you should be put behind bars. I do think that people that drink and drive have absolutely no consideration for other human beings. You cannot possibly say that you have love or any sort of not so much consideration, but that you love thy neighbor. Let's just leave it at that. You can't say you love thy neighbor and then drive drunk. That doesn't make any sense. So just don't. I hate it so much. I just hate it so much. I know someone that actually was the drunk driver in the case, and yeah, dude, the other person that he crashed into passed away, and he was a vegetable for the rest of his life. He in the same crash, I think he hurt his neck or cracked something from it, and the person was on a bed for like 15-20 years, something like that, and ended up passing away, but was completely drunk, got behind the wheel, and caused all that. Yeah, that sucks. Let's check out a news report. Nice. Okay, I like when they have bigger videos like this. This is from live5news.com. Let me make sure that we have audio coming through. Title says groom files wrongful death suit in wedding night DUI crash.
A groom is recovering both physically and emotionally after losing his bride the night of their wedding in a crash on Folly Beach.
And as he does so, he's now suing the driver accused of drunkenly crashing into their golf cart not even 3 weeks ago.
Cameron Bopp joining us now from the First Alert Desk. Cameron, the bar is accused of serving that driver, also named in this lawsuit.
Well, Ann Roth, the groom, Eric Hutchinson, alleges in the complaint that the driver, Jamie Komorowski, had a, quote, booze-filled day of bar hopping, and the businesses she went to had an obligation to not overserve her. Now, the night of the April 28th crash, Komorowski denied a field sobriety test, but a toxicology report from state police shows her blood alcohol level was at 0.261%, more than 3 times the legal limit in our state. She's currently charged with 1 count of reckless homicide and 3 counts of DUI causing serious bodily injury or death. It was supposed to be the happiest night of Hutchinson's life. He had just married 34-year-old Samantha Miller, who you see right there. The pair, along with a friend and a child, were on a street-legal golf cart when police say Komorowski slammed into them, going 65 miles per hour.
Wow.
Miller died while still wearing her wedding dress. The family now seeking justice and answers.
They do want answers. They do want the closure
Holy
of understanding
shit. That's
what
crazy.
happened. Why did it happen? If this stops, one person from getting in their car while intoxicated, or helps someone have the courage to step up and stop that from happening, or helps an establishment really take a hard stand on over-serving people, that's something positive that can come out of this.
Now, in addition to Komorowski, the complaint names the establishments Snapper Jacks, the Drop-In Bar and Deli, the Crab Shack, El Gallo Bar and Grill, and Taco Boy. Now, a representative with Taco Boy says Komorowski did not set foot in their establishment that night. They tell us they determined that by reviewing 16 hours of video footage, interviewing all employees working that night, and reviewing all sales receipts. The other establishments listed in the suit have not yet responded to a request for comment. At the Alert Desk, Cameron Bopp, Live 5 News.
Holy cannoli. Wow, they're going all out with the lawsuits. Why? Let's just say she stopped by every single one of those establishments. If she had just 1 drink and left, you can't really include them in the lawsuit because it could have been just the 1 drink. I don't know. I'm confused as to how. Wow. Unbelievable. Let's see. This is what the grand jury said. Sorry, I just want to see what the courts ended up saying. This is published September 20th, so this was 2 days ago.
A woman accused of driving drunk and killing a bride, seriously injuring 3 others, has been indicted. Court documents filed today show the grand jury returned indictments for felony DUI resulting in death, 2 counts of felony DUI with great bodily injury, and reckless homicide against Komorowski. You can hear more about the indictments on Live 5 News at 5.
Oh, boo. Wow, that was a short video. All right, well, that's that. She was indicted, so at least steps are being taken for this person to take some sort of responsibility for what she did. Moving on to the next case, we're going to Kansas City. Title says, truck driver accused of killing 2 women over 20 years ago in Kansas City. True Crime Daily, published September 21st, 2023. And it says, police have revealed new developments in several cold cases, including the arrest of 1 man who allegedly killed 2 women in the 1990s. On Wednesday, September 20th, Kansas City, Kansas, Police Chief Carl Oakman and Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree spoke at a press conference and announced 52-year-old Gary Dion Davis was taken into custody on 2 counts of second-degree murder for the deaths of Christina King and Pearl Davis. His bond is set at $500,000. According to Dupree, on November 22, 1996, Pearl Davis was found dead at a residence on Lafayette Avenue in Wyandotte County. The autopsy revealed she died by homicide and officials sent evidence from the scene to the Kansas Bureau of Investigation for processing. Just over 2 years later, on December 25th, 1998, police discovered King's body behind an abandoned building. King's autopsy report also determined she was killed. Advocacy group Justice for Wyandotte said King, said King, who went by the name Cricket because she was so tiny, had been beaten to death. Pearl Davis, who was also known as Samima Musawir, was fatally stabbed. WDAF TV reports King's daughter was 10 years old when she was killed and King was 26. Pearl Davis was 43 and a Vietnam War veteran. Dupree said cold case detectives reopened Davis and King's investigations and found DNA evidence from both scenes matched Gary Davis. If convicted, he faces up to life in prison. Officials are looking into whether Davis, who was a truck driver at the time of the killings, is connected to any other cold cases in the Kansas City area or in the United States. During the press conference, Police Chief Oakman spoke about 2 other cold cases from over 20 years ago. On July 22nd, 1997, 16-year-old Dion Estelle was found shot to death in a creek bed, but police could not identify any viable leads. Then, a break-in in Estelle's case came when an inmate at the Lansing Correctional Facility contacted Kansas City police and said his fellow inmate, Leon Caldwell, admitted to killing the teen. Police interviewed Caldwell, and he initially said he knew who killed Estelle, but did not want to reveal the person's name. Oakman said Caldwell came forward and admitted to killing Estelle. He supposedly provided details only the killer would know. Caldwell is in hospice care now and told Oakman he wanted Estelle's family to know the truth before he died. The 4th cold case Oakman discussed referred to the discovery of a newborn found in an apartment complex's dumpster on November 16, 1976. Oakman said the little girl was born alive and still had her umbilical cord attached. She was placed in cloths and bags, then left in the garbage. According to Oakman, investigators learned a teen was visiting the apartment complex around the same time, but then left soon after. Officials tracked down the child's mother, who was now in her 60s. The woman admitted she gave birth to the child, and her DNA matched the evidence found on the newborn. The woman told Oakman her grandmother took the baby and walked off. That was the last time the mother saw her child. Oakman identified the grandmother as the suspect in the newborn's death, but said the grandmother died. The child's mother was not arrested because investigators did not find any probable cause. Oakman added she was also a victim. The police chief shared, "We have a lot of unsolved cold cases. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow. In fact, it may not be this year, but there's going to be a time. You may be in the drive-through line. You may be at the grocery store. We're going to eventually get you." These. Let's see. This one is a little bit old. It's from Fox4KC.com. Let's see if it has a video. No video. Same info though. Or maybe it's this one that's on top. I don't know why it keeps giving me this blocked video. Because of the ad blocker that I have. But it's crazy because I've already been on this website.
Of a KCK more than 2.
No, jeez.
It's been more than 2 decades, but the family of
It is
a
right on top
KCK
here.
homicide victim still hoping that her case can be solved. Family members of Christina Renee King gathered near 27th and Sewell for a balloon release and prayer vigil tonight. King was beaten to death on Christmas Day in '98. Her daughter, April, says she's left with a lot of unanswered questions.
Who did it? Why? How could they do that to such a young person? She was only 26. Like, her autopsy, like, there were so many injuries and so many abrasions and bruises. Like, I just don't understand what she could have done that bad to deserve that.
A spokesperson for the police department says opening the cold case unit remains one of Chief Oakman's top priorities.
Hope they find out who it was. I mean, obviously they kind of have a lead on who it is, and it's This person that we see here in this picture. I mean, he's accused. They still haven't necessarily convicted him of it. But if so, what is he? He's going to get life in prison. If he did it, dude, put him in jail. It's awful. And I've mentioned it here before. It's not so much the actual occurrence, you know, a life is lost, but it's the aftermath of everything that has to that goes attached to it, you know, everything the family has to go through, everything that, you know, if they have a spouse or children, you know, the process of not only grief, but acceptance. And in many cases, when it's like this, a cold case, you don't ever have an answer. So you're just kind of left in the air, and that just drags on and on. I think it was like not the past episode, but the one that we did before that, episode 6. One of the cases that we read was a cold case that was probably like 30, 35 years old, happened in the 80s, and they finally found out who it was. But, I mean, think about it from the perspective of a human being. You spend like 30 years wondering what happened to your loved one. It's crazy. Again, it's why I think covering these cases is important, because I don't know, if not, then it just becomes like a thing of the past, and other situations happen, and it just adds up, and whatever happened a day or two ago, it just isn't relevant anymore. But reading through these cases is giving them a voice, like I said before, so I will continue to do so as much as I can. Moving on to the next case. We're going to Florida. Title says, Florida woman arrested for allegedly leaving son in hotel room with a dead man for several hours. True Crime Daily, published September 20th, 2023. And this is in Flagler County, Florida. It says, deputies arrested a 32-year-old woman who, after she allegedly left her 11-year-old son in a hotel room with a deceased man after she and the victim did drugs and had a sexual threesome with another man. According to the Flagler County Sheriff's Office, on the morning of Sunday, August 10th, deputies went to the Hammock Beach Resort after receiving a call about someone performing CPR on an unresponsive adult male. EMS arrived at the scene and pronounced the 60-year-old man deceased. Deputies reportedly noticed various narcotics and drug paraphernalia inside the hotel room and spoke with Amy Kemper, who confirmed there was drug use in the room overnight. Investigators learned Kemper's son had been in the hotel room while she did drugs with the victim and had a threesome with the victim and another man. Wow. The sheriff's office said Kemper noticed the victim was snoring unusually when she left the property with the other adult male, but decided to leave her child in the same room. When she and the other man returned hours later, the 60-year-old was dead. Kemper's charging documents identify the victim as Timothy Farinick. Kemper told deputies Farinick snorted cocaine, smoked marijuana, and took Viagra in the hours preceding his death. According to the affidavit, on Saturday, September 9th, Kemper, Farinick, and her friend Joseph Dowdy, a man named Brian, and another male went to a bar in Flagler Beach and stayed out until 2 a.m. Farinick and Kemper reportedly picked up her son from her mother's house. Then everyone met up at the hotel around 3 a.m. While in the room, Kemper reportedly put her son to sleep on a couch near the balcony doors in front of the bed. Kemper said all 5 adults were doing cocaine in the same room as the sleeping boy, but they kept the cocaine in the bathroom away from his sight. At some point, Dowdy and the other male left the room so Kemper, Farinick, and Brian could have a sexual threesome. They reportedly tried to move the couch into a closet and shield the doors with a sheet so if the boy woke up, he would not see or hear the sexual activities occurring. At approximately 5 a.m., Kemper reportedly observed Timothy Farinick having what she believed was a medical episode and called for help. The affidavit says the exact time she called for help is unclear because conflicting times were reported through the investigation. She noticed his unusual snoring, then allegedly determined he was just sleeping. She and Dowdy left him in the hotel room to, quote-unquote, sleep it off, and drove to Daytona Beach to see a friend. When the two returned at 9:25 a.m., they knocked on the door and her son answered. She found Farinick unresponsive and cold on the bed and called 911. According to the court document, the son was left in the hotel room with the unresponsive Timothy, drug paraphernalia, and sex items for numerous hours. Investigators reportedly discovered numerous sex toys in the bathroom and condom wrappers on the bed. Kemper was arrested on a charge of neglect of a child without great bodily harm. She posted bond and was released September 18th. Her arraignment is scheduled for October 30th. Wow, Mom of the Year, huh? Mind you, that child was in the room with the dead man for 6 hours because they left at 3 a.m. and, they met up at the hotel at 3 a.m. They did what they did and they left, and she left the kid in the room. Listen, parents are supposed to take care of the kids. That's the whole point. But listen, you gotta be real with yourself. Obviously, this person is not taking this child's life into consideration at all. This person doesn't give a shit about their kid. I'm tempted to say that this person had the child because she didn't have another choice, and it was there, and it's like a nuisance for this person's existence, when in reality, kind of seems like she's the nuisance. CPS needs to do something with this child. There has to be something done. This child cannot be another percentage because of the bad parenting that's coming from this person. Isn't it enough? The world's already bad enough as it is, that we have to add to the fact that now these type of parents, I mean, they've always existed, but wow, the man was dead. 6 hours left in there. Like, how do you know that kid was sleeping the whole time? What if curiosity woke that kid up and that kid started like touching all these things and whatnot? I don't know, man. That child deserves better than the cards that life is giving him at this moment. I mean, yeah, I've said it here before. The importance of parenting. I don't think that clicks in people's minds. That's a human being. That's a person. It's not a carbon copy of you. It's not like an extension of you. It's not an illusion. It's an actual human being that's occupying space and deserves better than this, than a cocaine-filled sexual threesome parent. In this case, it's the mother, but let's be honest with you, shit, could be the mother or the father. Doesn't matter. I don't know. The importance of like parenting, I guess it's just lost on people. Why did this person have to take the child from her mother's house? Kind of seems like the child was fine there. To have the child be under these circumstances, like, do you understand the what kind of mental state you have to be in to think that, oh, I'm gonna have a threesome with your child there? Like, wow, that is insane how people just suck as human beings. But luckily they have the the inmate search here for this person. So fuck it, we'll just read a little bit about this guy. I mean, she posted bond though. Like the fuck, how does this person post bond? But you can see the mugshots right here on top. I'll make it a little bit bigger so you can check it out. Bam. Oh, love it. Fucking love technology. Mother of the year. Crazy. And then you wonder why there's like kids that grow up with trauma and stuff and are the ones causing stuff later on in the world, like when they grow up in their own lifetime. Like, why would you even think that couldn't be possible? It trickles down because it's trauma that's going to be prevalent in this child's life because of the things that he saw, which he didn't really have to. It was because of someone else's lack of understanding and a lack of good parenting. And yet there's people that insist on telling other people that they have to have kids. For this, is this what you want them to have kids for? Because let me tell you something. A lot of people do this shit. A lot of people are just like, they neglect their kids. We read the case the last time we did an episode about the vloggers. I mean, I don't know about their personal lives. They didn't talk about drugs at all during that case. Yet, I mean, they used rope and tape to wrap their kids up and shit and neglect them food and like beat them up and stuff like that. And the kids had already gone to authorities and had called CPS and no one listened to them. No one gave a shit because I guess it was the kids that were saying it until the lid was blown off and they had to admit that they were unresponsive. They didn't do anything about it. The trauma's already there. The wrong has already been done. And yeah, again, people insist on telling other people that they need to have kids without realizing, again, it's just the importance of it. If you can't have a kid, dude, don't have it. If you don't understand what goes with it, just don't have it. Or I don't know, give it up for adoption. But that's like another whole thing because the adoption system in this country completely sucks. So it's another thing you can't really rely on, but nonetheless, Mom of the Year. I hope she gets all the bad that comes with it. I hope she gets it. And I really wish someone would intervene for that child. That child deserves a better future and a better way of living than what he's being given now. That's crazy. But we're moving on. We're going to Louisiana now. Title says, man accused of faking his drowning death in Mississippi River to avoid child rape charges. True Crime Daily, published September 19th, 2023. This is in Luling, Louisiana. And it says, a man was arrested in Georgia after he allegedly pretended to try. Alright. Sorry. A man was arrested in Georgia after he allegedly pretended to die in a drowning accident on the Mississippi River in order to avoid charges in North Carolina. On August 7th, 41-year-old Melvin M.D.'s son reported him missing to the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office after the son reportedly saw M.D. going overboard and drowning while kayaking. St. Charles Parish officials searched for M.D. using a drone, cadaver dog, and other methods in the area where he supposedly got into the water. One day after MD was reported missing, officials learned he was charged in Brunswick County, North Carolina, with indecent liberties with a child and statutory rape of a child by an adult. He was due in court that day. St. Charles Parish Sheriff Greg Champagne said investigators immediately became quite suspicious that he may have faked an accidental drowning in order for Mr. MD to escape charges in Brunswick County, North Carolina. Champagne added officials did not make those suspicions public because it would tip MD off. The sheriff's office said MD was required to wear an ankle monitor as part of a bail agreement. The same day as the alleged boating incident, MD reportedly bought 2 prepaid phones from a nearby Walmart. Investigators, including U.S. Marshals, managed to track the phones and said he used one of them intermittently. Then he reportedly stopped using them altogether. In the early hours of September 17th, a Georgia State Highway Patrol officer tried to conduct a traffic stop on a motorcycle without a license plate, but the driver fled and later crashed. The driver ran but was caught and taken into custody. The driver reportedly provided the officer with a fake name, but fingerprints proved it was actually MD. Champagne said in the statement, "Now it's time for Mr. MD to face the music for his charges in North Carolina." Damn. My man tried to fake his own death. Didn't work out for him. Didn't work out for him at all. That one does not have a video. We will move on to the next case. And I guess you can come to California. And we'll go to Los Angeles together. Title says, suspect arrested after Los Angeles County deputy fatally shot in the head while on duty. True Crime Daily, published September 18th, 2023. And this says, law enforcement officials announced they have detained a person of interest in connection with the killing of a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputy who was fatally shot while waiting at a red light. Sheriff Robert Luna shared the news in a press conference Monday, September 18th, and said investigators received new information from several community members following a news briefing Sunday about Deputy Ryan Klinkenbrummer's shooting death. Early Monday morning, agents from the department's Special Enforcement Bureau served a warrant at a residence in Palmdale and urged everyone in the house to come outside. Family members exited the home, but the suspect, Kevin Salazar, remained inside. According to Luna, Salazar chose to barricade himself and refused to come out. The standoff lasted for several hours, and Special Enforcement Bureau officials used several methods of trying to get him out, including using hostage negotiators. Eventually, they deployed chemical agents in the residence and he eventually exited the house. Once inside, investigators reportedly discovered numerous firearms and the vehicle of interest, a gray Toyota Corolla. Salazar was taken into custody peacefully, which Luna said contrasted the way Klinkenbrummer was killed. He said, "Our deputies gave this suspect an opportunity to peacefully give up. That is not the right that was afforded to our deputy 3 days ago across the street." Luna said he does not believe there are any additional suspects, but he is still urging others to come forward with information. On September 16th, which was a Saturday, at approximately 6 p.m., 30-year-old Klinkenbrummer was in his patrol car at the intersection of Sierra Highway and Avenue Q when the suspect allegedly ambushed him during his routine patrol duties. The shooting occurred near the Sheriff's Department Palmdale station. He had been with the department for 8 years. Klinkenbrummer was shot in the head, and a Good Samaritan found him and called for help. Medics transported him to Antelope Valley Medical Center, where he died from his injuries. Luna said during a press conference Saturday evening, "Our deputy never even had a chance. There was no warning. He was murdered while serving our community." Klinkenbrummer got engaged just days before he was killed, according to Luna. He was just starting his life, he said. Klinkenbrummer's father and grandfather both worked for the department. Luna said he believes Klinkenbrummer could have been shot because he was in a uniform, but officials were still looking into motive. Officials were offering a $250,000 reward for the capture, prosecution, and conviction of the suspect or suspects. Wow, crazy. Unbelievable. Okay. We won't watch the whole thing. This is just like a title says, Sheriff Luna to provide update regarding a person of interest detained in the murder of Deputy Brian Klinkenbrummer. Let's see what the sheriff has to say. We'll watch about maybe like 3-4 minutes of it, just to give him a little bit of time to be able to provide us with the information. This was streamed 4 days ago. This is from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department's YouTube channel. All right. Guess that's where we are in life. All right. Hey, listen. It's good that they post things, and it keeps us informed, and we can also check out the videos together. So it works. It's a win-win situation. So let's watch this press conference. I don't know how the sound is going to come in. Hopefully it just doesn't. Oh, this was a whole live stream. Okay. Oh, I see.
We had to sincerely thank all of you for covering this story so extensively as you have. Not only every man and woman who works for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, but every community member here in Palmdale. So I want to start off by saying 36 hours after the murder of our deputy, the men and women of our department arrested him early this morning. I'm very proud. Very proud of the work that our men and women have done. You'll see as I lay this out, their professionalism, their dedication, their discipline, just absolutely off the charts, and shows just what an amazing department the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department is. Yesterday, after 4 p.m., we had a press conference at that time. Many of you were here. Community members came forward with information which led homicide detectives to identify the suspect and the vehicle used in the murder of Deputy Klink and Brummer. Early this morning, our Special Enforcement Bureau served a warrant at the suspect's residence located in the 37,600,000 block of Burrison Street here in the city of Palmdale. During that operation, deputies surrounded the residence and called out all the occupants of that residence. Eventually, family members did come out. The suspect chose to barricade himself and refused to initially come out. He barricaded himself for several hours. Our special enforcement deputies, basically our SWAT team, were out there for several hours trying to de-escalate the situation, using different techniques, including using hostage negotiators. Eventually, they deployed chemical agents, and the suspect ultimately surrendered. And I want to take a pause here for a second when I talk about how proud I am of this department after a significant tragedy that we've shared with all of you, because those special enforcement deputies took the time to try to de-escalate this and take this individual peacefully into custody when they knew that our deputy was not afforded the same opportunity. He never gave our deputy a chance, but yet our men and women gave this individual a chance to take him into custody peacefully. That's the difference between professionals and individuals out there who are targeting not only community members, but more importantly, law enforcement out on the street. Investigators recovered numerous firearms and the vehicle of interest that was depicted in the flyer that we put out yesterday, our press conference.
Okay, I'm not sure that one thing has much to do with the other, though, but I understand his point, and it is pretty tragic. But I mean, I guess there are professional killers. I don't. Is that what he tried to say with? I don't know if that's what he meant with it. I'm not 100% sure. But I get the point. I just don't think he chose the correct words to be able to express it, because kind of sounds like he was saying that there's like a difference between professional cops and professional killers or criminals, I guess. Not sure being a criminal is a profession, but all right. We'll give it about a minute more, and then we'll move on to the next case.
I want to stress that our investigators are still actively working this case. There's more information that we probably don't know at this time.
Yo, shout out to the ASL.
Every piece of evidence, everything we have will be analyzed. And I do want to stress
not translator, but
to our community
but she's doing
that
ASL. That's pretty awesome.
we are extremely confident that we have the right person in custody, I am still asking people to come forward and give us any piece of information that they believe that they have. Why? Because the arrest is only one part of this. We have to get this individual prosecuted now to the full extent of the law. And we
100%.
need the public's continued help and support in doing that. The suspect was arrested and transported here to the Palmdale Sheriff's Station pending further investigation. The suspect has been identified as 29-year-old Kevin Gatiano Salazar of Palmdale. I would also like to emphasize that Ryan's partners, the deputies that serve this community here out of the Palmdale Sheriff's Station, were involved in this investigation, leading to the arrest of this suspect. And we believe at this time there are no other suspects involved in this incident.
Well, damn, that sucks. He was at a red light. That is crazy. Shot in the head. I mean, you could. People that have like their own opinions about law enforcement and whatnot. You can't really. It's based off of experience. Some people have had great experiences with law enforcement. Some people have not had great experiences with law enforcement. Me personally, my own opinion, it's a human being. I mean, you can have whatever feelings you want about law enforcement, but if you strip away the profession, it's a human being that was killed, cold-bloodedly. So, just to put that out there, so we can be on the same page. Fatally shot in the head. So, this man probably had a family. You know, probably had a mom and a dad or siblings that loved him. Probably had friends and people that knew him outside of the profession of law enforcement. So yeah, I mean, it's not only the person in uniform that they're killing, but it's the human being outside of it as well. Crazy. So again, you can have whatever opinion you want. You can think whatever you want. You could be for or against, and you could have your slew of reasons as to why. But we can all agree, regardless of how you see things in your perspective, that it's still a human being at the end of the day. And if the killing of a human being, it's killing, they fucking murdered him. If that doesn't cause some type of emotion on you, like, damn, like, that's even, at the bare minimum, pity for the family because of what they're having to go through now. Yeah, it's just inhumane, I guess. That's how I see it. Moving on. We're going to Iowa. Title says, Iowa man convicted of kidnapping killing 10-year-old whose remains were found in a pond. True Crime Daily, published September 15th, 2023. This is in Davenport, Iowa. And it says, a 51-year-old man was convicted this week of kidnapping and killing a young girl whose disappearance set off an Amber Alert and a month-long search until her remains were discovered in a pond. The Quad City Times reports Scott County Judge Henry Latham reached the verdict following a 14-day bench trial that included nearly 50 witnesses and dozens of hours of testimony, leading him to convict Henry Dinkins for the murder of 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. Terrell's 11-year-old brother, who was identified only as DL, testified at Dinkins' trial and reportedly spoke about how he and Terrell slept at Dinkins' girlfriend's apartment the night before the girl disappeared. The judge reportedly said the testimony was, quote-unquote, remarkable. Terrell was reported missing to Davenport police on July 10th, 2020, after she was reportedly last seen that morning on the 2700 block of East 53rd Street. Officials issued an Amber Alert on July 15th, 2020, and named Dinkins as her abductor. At the time, however, he was not charged in connection with her disappearance. Local, state, and federal investigators searched for Terrell over the course of several months. On March 22nd, 2021, residents in DeWitt discovered human remains in a pond and contacted law enforcement officials. The remains were positively identified as Terrell's, and Scott County prosecutors charged Dinkins with kidnapping and murder in May 2021. The 10-year-old girl was shot to death. KLJB-TV reports Dinkins will be sentenced October 11th. Terrell's mother told KLJB, I don't know how to feel. I feel like I just won the lottery. I don't think that sentence at the end was placed properly there. I feel like there's something missing from there because that doesn't... I don't know if she's referring to the fact that they now have a suspect, but I don't know, because if you were to read that and take it at face value, kind of seems like she's referring to the child, and I don't think that's what it's supposed to mean. People are weird as well, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me completely, I guess, but wow, you'd have to be really, really like out there to say a sentence like that and have it mean, you know, referring to the fact that you just like won the lottery because the child is no longer in your life. Again, I don't know. It's a little bit open-ended there. We're gonna see if maybe they have a website, video or something that we can maybe see the expression of the person saying it, or maybe there's again a sentence that was not included in this article that we just read and would make it make a whole lot more sense, because it's not making any sense to me right now. I'm a little bit confused. OurQuadCities.com title says Henry Dinkins guilty in kidnapping, murder of 10-year-old Breasia Terrell. I'm trying to see if they have maybe a video. See, so it does say it here, but I don't know if again, I don't know what the person is referring to. Maybe they are referring to the fact that there's a suspect that was caught. Boo. Sorry, just waiting for this to load up. Okay, so this video says Aisha Langford reactions to Henry Dinkins' guilty verdict.
Of course, you know I will. They supposed to name him? Yeah. Oh, so sad.
How do you feel, Aisha?
How do I feel?
How do you feel?
I feel like I won the damn lottery.
Come on.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Sorry about that. It's a little bit loud.
We waited
Put the volume down.
1,100.
Okay, that's see context. You read that face value, take it as it was saying it there, and it didn't make any sense, at least to me. Maybe chat, let me know if it did make sense to you and I'm just like being dumb at this moment, but it didn't make much sense to me. But there we go, we watched the video, now seeing it in the context of how she was expressing it, and she's referring to the fact that the person was found guilty. I personally feel like they should have added that to the article. That would have had it make a lot more sense, and there wouldn't be any sort of confusion. But again, that could have just been me. I can admit that. But let's see. This is great. At least it gives some sort of comfort to the family, and they're able to, move on a bit. It's a 10-year-old child. Like they're never gonna get over it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean it in a very realistic human way. How are you gonna get over something like that? I have an aunt that lost her son, my cousin, to leukemia. This was the year 2000, and she's like, the way she still talks about him sometimes is she's never gotten over that. You don't get over losing a child. That's a lifelong thorn that you're gonna have to live with. It's like stuck straight in your heart. So anything that could provide a moment of, I don't know, I don't want to call it happiness, because it's a strong word when talking about such an in-depth and horrendous situation like they just went through. But I don't know, man. Anything that could just help them, maybe fucking feel a little better. So whatever, we'll bask in the small little moment of happiness that this family has, that because the verdict was reached and this monster is going to jail.
163 days to come out here and scream it. Yes. Justice for free. We're the rest of the family. Y'all not over here. Y'all too quiet over here. Come on. Justice for free. 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 Where y'all at? Justice for free. Justice for free. Justice for free. That's how it's supposed to be, damn it. Yes, I'm so happy. I was nervous, but I'm happy. I'm real happy. It still doesn't bring her back. It doesn't, not by a long shot, but I mean, at least I can start the hard part for the most part. Go back to hell for where you come from. Exactly, starting my journey as far as, getting myself together mentally and, getting my son back together, which I can't wait to go see him.
How do you feel from this moment?
How do I feel? I feel like I won $1 million. I feel like, I feel like Judge Latham came here and he did what he was supposed to have been doing. I mean, justice, we still trying to bring her home still, as y'all can tell. But I mean, the justice has been served. I mean, I'm happy. I feel like the verdict was ran right. She can rest. I mean, yes, she can definitely rest in peace, because she's been out our hands 3 years. And I'm so happy. I was real emotional coming in, but I'm real happy. I'm so happy.
That's 3 years.
Judge Latham had to say about DL.
Oh, I feel amazing. I've always wanted to hear the truth from Breasia herself, because that's my truth teller.
Alien Dinos, thank you so much for joining, Chad. I appreciate that. Both. Relief could be a distraction. Distraction could be a relief. There you go. Distraction is the relief. Dude, you just have to grab onto anything, especially when you're going through something so harsh like this, and it's a child and whatnot. I mean, it's any situation. You could apply it to anything, but damn, it's just 3 years is a long time to not have any closure on something. And again, I've mentioned it in past streams, but it's not so much you don't have closure to it, but then you have to repeat the same thing over and over again, and it's the wound can never heal. And I don't know, and unfortunately, as human beings, that's one of the cruxes that we live with from the day we're born to the day we die. And it's the reality that anything can happen. Sometimes it's nature, sometimes it's not nature, sometimes it's nature. Shit. Sometimes it's natural disasters. Sometimes it's horrible situations like this that happen, true crime in the true crime cases that we cover here and whatnot, the depravities and horrendous things that human beings are able to cause to other human beings. You're born with that whole thing. It's just like your whole life. You're it's literal survival, if you really think about it. So I don't know. The way I see it, anything helps. If this is a drop of relief or distraction for this family, then man, so be it. I don't know. Better that than not having. Better having something than nothing at all, I guess. But I do appreciate the comment. That does make a lot of sense, and it is a pretty good question. Sucks though. I mean, we all go through it. At some point in your life, one way or another, you experience grief. That's like the you can't get past that as a human being. I don't know. Crazy. All right, moving on. But I ranted a little bit there. Let's continue on watching Aisha Langford's reaction to the verdict.
I mean, she's the one who told the truth always, you know, not saying that my son lied, but to know that, you know, he never once changed, not one thing. He always told the truth, and he's still dealing with it. He's unrecognizable, but he's still able to be saved. So I'm so happy for him, and I'm so happy of all the positivity that he was able to, you know, get. He still battled with that out here in the real world, but I mean, hey, we gonna get this together. I can't wait.
Aisha, what were some of the emotions up until the final decision today?
The emotions for me is just, you know, sitting there, you know, and just, you know, for the most part, watching them, you know, no emotions and things like that, just watching, like, you know, we sat here day in and day out, you know, waiting for this exact moment, you know, and my emotional part was just the fact of just hearing, you know, he's guilty. Like, it was already emotional because I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this since the moment, you know, I got the call that, oh, she's missing, she's gone, you know what I'm saying? So, and to be here today, September 15th, not only to mention her jersey number, like, you know, it was her damn yes. Let him wear.
Damn.
Come on. I've been waiting.
It's crazy to get a phone call, dude. That's insane, dude.
Yes, you got it right.
Wow. Okay, so this is Scott County Attorney Kelly Cunningham after Henry Dinkins' guilty verdict.
He feels justice has been served in this case. I want to acknowledge and thank members of our law enforcement community for their efforts and how they brought closure to this family. We are very blessed here in Scott County to have the caliber of law enforcement officers who serve us and who make sacrifices every day to serve and protect our community. I'm glad to see that this family finally has closure. The family, we are keeping them in our prayers, and we would ask the community to continue in their efforts in supporting and praying for this family.
Damn. Crazy. 3 years. 3 years of not having anything. But again, just to reiterate, I'll just read the paragraph again. It says, March 22nd, 2021, residents in DeWitt discovered human remains in a pond and contacted law enforcement officials. The remains were positively identified as Terrell's, and Scott County prosecutors charged Dinkins with kidnapping and murder in May 2021. So, yeah. Yikes. But, again, anything helps. Makes them feel better, and it just gives a little bit of closure. So be it. See, where are we going now? Sorry, give me 1 second. I think my cat's trying to get out. He can't get out. Dumbass, he closes the door on himself trying to get out. He expects me to open the door. Yeah. Oh, kitty. Dude, this cat's insistent. I just left the door open a little bit so he can come in and out, because if not, he's just going to start scratching the door and it gets extremely annoying. Get a cat, they said. I love him. I'm just messing with you, but let's go to North Carolina. Title says, North Carolina man accused of killing his wife and throwing her body into a lake. True Crime Daily, published September 22nd, 2023. And this is an Apex North Carolina. It says, investigators have arrested a 34-year-old man on suspicion of killing his wife after her body was found in a lake last month. On Tuesday, August 29th, a boater on Jordan Lake contacted the Chatham County Sheriff's Office after noticing a body in the water near Farrington Point boat ramp. Deputies arrived at the scene and recovered the victim, who they later identified as Hadil Godhenfer Hikmat, age 34, by using fingerprint analysis. The sheriff's office said investigators believe her death was neither accidental nor self-inflicted. On September 19th, a little less than a month after she was found, Hikmat's husband, Omar Matthew Ibrahim Drabik, was taken into custody on charges of first-degree murder and concealment of an unnatural death. According to WTVD-TV, Hikmat was born in Iraq, majored in chemical engineering, and moved to North Carolina last year following his marriage to Drabik. Her brother, Firas Hikmat, lived in Istanbul and told WTVD Hikmat was so ambitious, so dedicated. Firas Hikmat alleged his sister and Drabik argued because she kept in touch with her relatives overseas. Firas Hikmat contacted the Apex Police Department and reported her missing because she stopped returning his text messages. Firas Hikmat told WTVD, "We lost our sister. We want justice." Oh, you have two of them? Yeah. I feel it. Feel your pain. I still haven't moved to getting that second cat, but I'm thinking about it. I feel bad for him. It's kind of lonely there, and definitely needs a companion, but it's just my wife and I work, and we haven't been able to get that kitty cat, but that is on the list. This case does not have a video, so we will move on to the next one, and it sucks. It sucks very, very much. Wow. They threw her body into a lake. It's crazy. Unbelievable. We're going to Arizona. Title says, Arizona woman allegedly shot 80-year-old husband because she didn't want a divorce. True Crime Daily, published September 22nd, 2023. This is in Prescott, Arizona. And, wow. The mugshot is... You could just put the mugshot and not even put a title. And I could have somehow put two and two together. Wow, this is very unique. Very unique. Very unique. She seems like a very fun person to have a conversation with. All right. Enough of that. A 62-year-old woman is facing attempted murder and other charges after she allegedly shot her husband in the middle of the night during an argument about their pending divorce. According to Prescott Police, on Wednesday, September 20th, at a little after midnight, officers were called to the 200 block of Thoroughbred Drive regarding a shooting and found an 80-year-old male victim with a gunshot wound to his wrist. Medics transported him to a local hospital, then flew him to Phoenix for treatment of non-life-threatening injuries. Police learned the suspect, Christina Pasqualetto, and the victim, John Pasqualetto, were getting a divorce and had been separated for several months. She had been living at their residence in Gilbert while he was in Prescott. He changed the locks, but suspected his wife of taking some belongings from the house. The statement says Christina Pasqualetto made the 2-plus-hour drive from Gilbert to Prescott because she did not want to get divorced. Christina Pasqualetto allegedly made her way into the house and walked into the victim's bedroom. He was in bed, and the two reportedly started arguing about the separation. According to police, when he told her that he still wanted to get a divorce and wasn't changing his mind, she produced a handgun and shot him while he was still in bed. John Pasqualetto pushed his estranged wife over, knocking the gun out of her hand. While trying to escape, he reportedly hit her with his hands and elbows. John Pasqualetto reportedly ran to a neighbor's house for help and called 911. Additionally, he accused Christina Pasqualetto of stealing his checks and forging one for $10,000. Police reportedly found a deposit slip in her purse for the same amount. Prescott police arrested Christina Pasqualetto and booked her into the Yavapai County Jail for attempted first-degree murder, aggravated assault, forgery, and theft. If you've ever seen the movie Goodfellas, I don't know why this scene popped into my head. I think it's because she went into the bedroom while he was sleeping. There's a certain scene in the movie where Ray Liotta's wife, I forgot her name, great actress, but her name just slipped my mind right now, but she wakes him up, she straddles him, she gets on top of him, and she wakes him up with a gun in his face. And it's because he's cheating. And well, spoiler, I guess, if you have not seen one of the greatest movies ever created, Goodfellas, I don't know what to tell you. That's just literally on any streaming service that you want to find. But that certain scene, it just reminded me of the case we just read, reminded me of that specific scene. Mind you, this person actually shot her husband. But in the movie, in the movie, when she tries to shoot him, he pushes her off the bed, pushes her off of him, and then he gets on top of her on the floor and whatnot. Obviously, that's not what we just read now, but if you kind of compare them, it seems like this, like that Goodfellas scene could have been how it all started, and then everything that we just read was how it actually unfolded after the case. So there you go. If you have not seen the movie, again, one of the greatest movies ever created, definitely check it out. Goodfellas. So Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, it's just Joe Pesci. Come on now. Yeah, that smell is very creepy. Just wow. That is very unique. Very unique. I'm confused though, because it seems like I don't know if it's that she has just a lot of makeup on her face, or if she's like two black eyes, but I'm thinking it's makeup, because it looks like if it would have been black eyes, they would have had to hit her in the same place on both sides. So this is just like extreme makeup gone wrong. Crazy. This case does not have a video associated to it. It just has the Prescott Police Department statement, and this is where they get the information from. So I'm not going to reread the same thing we just went through. So, oh boy. Once I see these pictures, dude, and they start and once I start seeing like kids and pictures and shit, I already know sort of where the story's going, and it's never good. It's never good. All right. We're going to Illinois. It says, Illinois quadruple murder suspect shoots fiance, dies from gunshot wound after police chase. Published September 22nd, 2023. We're reading from True Crime Daily, and this is from Romeoville, Illinois. It says, a 32-year-old man wanted for allegedly killing a family of 4 and their 2 dogs died Wednesday after purportedly shooting himself in the head following a car chase in Oklahoma. On Sunday, September 17th, at around 8:45 p.m., Romeoville police received a call about conducting a welfare check at a home on the 500 block of Concord Avenue because the caller's relative did not show up for work earlier that day and was not answering calls. Police arrived at the residence and found Alberto Rolón, Zoraida Bartolomé, and their 2 children deceased with gunshot wounds. Police believe the slaying occurred between 9 p.m. Saturday and 5 a.m. Sunday. WGN-TV reports the children were 7 and 9-year-old. The family's 3 dogs were also killed. In a press conference, Romeoville Deputy Police Chief Chris Burns said detectives have an idea about a possible motive, but did not elaborate. Romeoville police identified Nathaniel Hewitt Jr. as a credible suspect and said he was traveling with a female who was later reported missing to the Streamwood Police Department. Romeoville police issued a statewide bulletin about Huey. A license plate reader in Catoosa, Oklahoma, located Huey's vehicle September 20th and tried to conduct a traffic stop. Huey and the female fled the scene but soon crashed. The car caught on fire as a result. Catoosa police officers approached the car and heard what sounded like 2 gunshots. Police went to the vehicle and found Huey deceased from a gunshot wound in the driver's seat and the female injured in the passenger seat. Medics transported the woman to the hospital in critical condition. John Paul Ivick, the female victim's attorney, identified her as Ermelinda Palomo. Huey and Palomo had been in a long-term relationship and were engaged. She died from a gunshot wound to the head, and her death has been ruled a homicide. According to Ivick, Palomo was without a shadow of a doubt not involved in the killings because she was home sleeping when they occurred. She reportedly sent concerning text messages to family members, such as, "I love you, take care of my grandbabies." One of Palomo's children described Huey as a very angry man, according to NBC News. A second daughter said he was very dangerous and a huge manipulator. Told you. As soon as I see that picture, dude, and it's... Yep. Yikes. This is the family. So this is the picture. You just saw it when I clicked on it. All right. Let's see. This is from Facebook. Title says, police in Romeoville issue update after family slain. Make it a little bigger. I'm sorry about my big forehead.
The victims on September 17th, the Romeoville Police Department had developed a person of interest. That person of interest is 31-year-old Nathaniel Huey Jr. of Streamwood, Illinois. A second person, a female with a relationship to Huey, was also identified as a person of interest. In the evening hours of September 19th, the female person of interest was reported by family as a missing endangered person out of Streamwood, Illinois, and entered into the law enforcement agency's data system. Later that same evening, the Romeoville Police Department distributed a statewide bulletin to law enforcement agencies, believing Huey to be a credible suspect in this investigation. This morning, acting on a digital license plate reader alert, the Catoosa, Oklahoma Police Department was alerted to the presence of the suspect vehicle in their jurisdiction. Acting on this alert, local authorities located the vehicle and attempted to conduct a traffic stop. The vehicle immediately attempted to elude the officers, resulting in a single-car crash of the suspect vehicle, causing the vehicle to catch on fire. Officers on scene heard two noises believed to be gunshots. A female with a gunshot wound was located and removed from the passenger side of the vehicle and is listed in critical condition. A male, also with a gunshot wound, was located deceased in the driver's seat of the vehicle. This is still an active and evolving investigation, and this portion of the incident is still unfolding. We appreciate the public's cooperation and assistance, and I will take a couple of questions.
Do we know why these two may have had designs of this family?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do we know what the motive may be in this case?
We have developed, evidence has shown us a nexus between our suspect and the victims, as well as a possible motive.
Wow. It's crazy.
Not at this time. This is still an active investigation with a sensitivity to it.
So the main suspect is dead, or the person of interest, I should say.
The Catoosa, Oklahoma Police Department and the Oklahoma State Police are still conducting an investigation. This literally just happened very recently. So until the conclusion of their investigation and notification of family, we have not made any identifications yet.
So that's right when you saw that car that you were searching for, the license plate as well was pulled over and led to those events?
Correct.
Were weapons recovered at the scene other than the weapon used to inflict the two gunshot wounds?
This is still an active, ongoing investigation, and we are not releasing that information at this time.
I'm sorry, you said Catoosa, Oklahoma?
I believe it is Catoosa, yes, Catoosa, Oklahoma.
You saw that for me?
C-A-T-O-O-S-A.
Are you looking for anyone else or not?
Nothing in our investigation to this point leads us to believe that there were any other suspects. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
Wow. Why even hold a press conference if you don't have like answers to questions that they're asking you? It's pretty fucking important. Let's see. This is an actual news report. This is from NBCnews.com. Ooh, that sucks because they should give me an option that says. There we go. Why do they need my support? They're a multi-million-dollar company. If anything, you should be paying me for talking about these news, putting like these news reports and stuff on Livestream. Okay, that's a little loud. Sorry, I don't control the audio from websites. We've had very, very bad experiences with some of these news videos because some of them are, well, I think the ones normally from like NBC are a little better with audio, but wow, we've had some from Fox that, holy shit, dude, those the audio is pretty horrendous. So I try my best to not have it sound so loud, but let me know in chat if you don't hear it, can't hear it very well. The video we just saw, I couldn't put the volume anymore, but with this one I'll put it up a little more as the video progresses.
All is quiet Thursday night at the Streamwood home once shared by murder suspect Nathaniel Huey and his fiancée Ermelinda Palomo, the couple connected to the quadruple murder of a young family in Romeoville over the weekend. Tonight we know that Huey owned a security company that was dissolved earlier this month. We also know that Palomo's family believes she, with no criminal history, was also a victim.
She communicated with members of her family, telling them such things as, "I love you, take care of my grandbabies."
In fact, the attorney shed light on a dark series of events that happened after the family of 4 and their 3 dogs were found shot to death in Romeoville on Sunday morning by police on a well-being check. Palomo's phone and Find My Phone app were shut off Tuesday night, and that's when her concerned family reported her in danger and missing.
We know without a shadow of a doubt that at the time of the murders in Romeoville, Ermelinda was home sleeping. The family wants to make it clear that Ermelinda had nothing to do with the murders in Romeoville.
Oklahoma police explain both Huey and Palomo were involved in a crash and shooting inside their car in Catoosa, Oklahoma on Wednesday. They were caught thanks to a flock license plate reader at a nearby shopping center. The police chief tells us it was critical because cameras aren't allowed on throughways.
Desperate people do desperate things. So with the flock camera system, we knew who we were dealing with.
It ended with the duo being chased, a fiery crash, and police hearing 2 gunshots. Huey was pronounced. Palomo died soon after.
They have ruled her death a homicide from a gunshot wound to the head. Ermelinda is a mother of 5, grandmother of 5.
Police say there is evidence pointing to a connection between the suspect and victims and a possible motive, but declined to elaborate. In Streamwood, Natalie Martinez, NBC5 News.
Wow. I'm just so okay. I was a bit confused. I just thought the person that was the woman that was in the car was just some random woman, but yeah, I guess they explained it a little better now. And the person, Alberto Horlong and Zoraida Bartolome, are the parents of the 2 boys. So they are the people in the picture. I'm sorry, I was a bit confused there. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Wow. Okay. I for one second I thought that it was they counted for the 2 children, but the 2 individuals that were in the vehicle, because he killed himself while the car was on fire, and I guess he shot her. Then she didn't die, but she later died in the hospital. I thought that that's what they were referring to with the 4, the quadruple, but no. It's 4. It's like the family that we're seeing here, and then it's the other two that were in, that caused all this that also died as well. Wow. And there's no motive. There's no motive. Like, wow. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. We're going to Indiana. Title says, Indiana cousin arrested after 6-month-old suffers near fatal amount of rat bites. True Crime Daily, published September 21st, 2023. This is in Evansville, Indiana. And it says, 2 women and a man were taken into custody this week after a 6-month-old boy was found with most of his flesh bitten off of one of his hands due to rat bites as well as other injuries. According to the affidavit cited by WEHT-TV, on September 13th, David Schoenbaum called Evansville police and reported his infant son had blood all over his body and that his fingers looked like they were missing. EMS responded to the 1600 block of Linwood Avenue and transported the child to an Indianapolis hospital for treatment. The boy reportedly sustained at least 50 rodent bites on his forehead, cheek, and nose, though the worst wounds were on the toddler's hand. WEHT reports the victim had to undergo a blood transfusion due to the near-fatal event. WEVV-TV, which also cites the affidavit, said Schoenbaum lived in the Linwood Avenue home with his wife, Angel Schoenbaum, and her sister, Delana Thurman. Angel and David Schoenbaum have 3 children, and Thurman has 2. All had moved into the home of David Schoenbaum's cousin. David Schoenbaum and his cousin reportedly reached an agreement where the Schoenbaums could live in the home rent-free, but in return, they would have to take care of the house. David Schoenbaum reportedly told Evansville police he realized in March that the home had a major rat infestation. He put out traps and other bait boxes, but it allegedly wasn't enough. In one message to Terminix, David reportedly said the house was completely overwhelmed with rats. A Terminix employee reportedly saw garbage bags in the yard, which they explained would exacerbate the critter problem. When police searched the home after the boy went to the hospital, they reportedly noticed rat footprints in the child's blood. According to WEHT, Thurman reportedly told police that her daughter and David and Angel Schoenbaum's daughter informed the teacher their toes got bitten by mice while they slept. DCS contacted Thurman, and she said there was a normal amount of mice in the house. A behavioral health service worked with the Schoenbaums starting in April, and case managers noticed the home had trash all over the place, animal feces on the ground, and dirty dishes in the sink. Over time, however, the situation began slowly improving. The case manager went to the home 4 days before the child went to the hospital. Court records show Angel Schoenbaum is charged with 6 counts of neglect of a dependent, David Schoenbaum with 3 counts of neglect of a dependent, and Thurman with 2 counts of neglect of a dependent. Holy shit. We've read plenty of cases. We've read some really weird stuff. This is on the list of like top 3 weirdest ones that we've read. The child didn't die. You know, at least the child will, survived and will be able to live. Obviously, will not be able to recuperate because it's not going to be able to grow its fingers out again. Just out of curiosity mostly. Just like, all right. Let's see. So just so we can be on the same page of let's see. This is from Fantastic Pest Control. Talking about rat bites. So, what diseases do rats carry that can affect humans? So, first one, hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. This viral disease is the most common serious infection a human can face after contact with rats. It's spread, and you might ask yourself why am I reading this? The rats bit all of the child's fingers off of one hand. Bit the child on, and took flesh off of his nose and other parts of his body as well. So, I mean, not only is it the fact that the rat bit off all those things, but on top of that, the child will now have to probably face these diseases because it comes with being bit by a rat. It's fucking crazy. Okay. It's the hantavirus pulmonary syndrome. It's spread through rat bites and scratches, but the most common ways are through rat feces and urine, including pathogens that got transmitted through dust. Rat bite fever. Another disease transmitted through a bite, scratch, or contact with a dead rat. It causes high fevers, shivering, headache, and joint pain. Salmonellosis. This disease can get into your system by consuming food or water contaminated with rat feces or urine. But this is the diseases that rats carry in general. Leptospirosis is a bacterial disease that can be transmitted by coming in contact with contaminated water. And the plague. If you don't know about the plague, definitely Google it. That is a complete topic in and of itself. If we were to go down that route, we'd have to dedicate the whole episode from this point on into explaining the plague. But all I can say is that's what happens when you mess with cats. That's all I'm going to say. But it talks about the plague. It says, thankfully, modern medicine has a cure for this disease, but it still exists and it's still deadly. While rats aren't the direct carry of the pathogen, they might carry fleas in properties, which are the main culprits. So, these are symptoms of a rat bite. General symptoms are pain, redness, and swelling around the bite. A weeping, pus-filled wound. It's a sign of a secondary infection. It says rat bites are very dangerous. But this is a pest control company, so they're trying to sell me stuff. Orkin is also a pest control company as well. So they might try to sell me something as well. Okay, so wow, there's something actually called rat bite fever. Let's see if this doesn't have copyright music on it. Of course it does. Why does it have, why would you add the music to it? Alright, fuck it. I don't think there's any voices to it, so I'll read it to you. So it says a rat bite fever. Rat bite fever is an illness caused from bacteria transmitted by rodents. The condition goes by many names, but it is typically transmitted by a rat. The disease can be passed from the urine or feces of an infected rodent, but it is typically caused due to the animal's bite. The bacteria responsible for rat bite fever is found in the mouth, nose, and respiratory tract of many rats, and sometimes infection from the bite can be fatal. It is a rare disease typically spread by infected rodents. However, pets such as dogs or cats that are exposed to these animals can also carry the disease and infect humans. There are two types of gram-negative bacteria that can cause the infection. It's Streptobacillosis moniliformis, and the second one is Spirillum minus. Symptoms occur 3 to 10 days after exposure. However, they can be delayed up to several weeks. Symptoms include chills, fever, headache, muscle aches, vomiting, painful swelling of the joints, fatigue, rash. The children had their toes bit while they slept. So, for all we know, they could have already started experiencing these symptoms by the time what happened to the child happened. So that's why I'm mentioning all of these things. So it's not only because of what happened to the child, but it's the fact that the other siblings had their toes bit while they slept. So who knows if they would eventually start seeing these symptoms pop up. It does say it takes about 3 to 10 days after exposure, but it can be delayed up to several weeks. So who knows, 2-3 weeks after that bite, they start feeling all of these symptoms, and yeah, that's pretty downhill from there. The foot here that you see here, why they use this is just a huge picture of a foot. It's beyond me, but I guess this shows like a fever rash because of a bite. So it says, symptoms are nonspecific and can be confused with other diseases. It is a difficult diagnosis, and the diagnosis could be delayed. It says, here's a patient MRI of the right side shoulder. The patient had documented infection of the right shoulder proven to be caused by rat bite fever. The patient had incision and drainage of the right shoulder. So this is what we see right here. Holy cannoli. Treatment, usually penicillin or its derivative. A good prevention program is to avoid exposure to infected animals, but obviously that is not what happened in this case. And the mortality rate is about 13% if not treated. Damn. I want to see that again. I'm sorry. Wow. I'd sure spread. Alright, so the CDC states that those at higher risk of contracting the illness are people with pet rats or those who work with rats in laboratories, pet stores, or people who live in rat-infested buildings. People who handle rodents or clean up after them should wash their hands regularly, as well as wear protective gloves and avoid placing their hands to the mouth after being in contact with rodents. I actually know someone that... wait, hold on. Let me see if there's anything else to read. All rodents are potential carriers of the bacteria. Children under the age of 5, pregnant women, and people with weakened immune systems should consider not having a rat as a pet. Wow. There you go. This video is for educational purposes. What I was going to say is I actually know someone that went into a storage unit that just so happened to the actual location was rat infested, and when she went into the storage unit that she rents, there was a whole bunch of like rat feces and whatnot. She didn't notice it, but she was cleaning it out. She was gonna put some things in there, and she started sweeping the floor and the dust, which had like feces particles from the rats. I guess she breathed it in, and she told me she was sick for like 2.5 weeks, but like sick, she had to go to like the hospital. She was put into like the emergency room and shit. I forgot, inpatient. So they had to inpatient her into the hospital and everything because she had a very bad infection because of rat feces. So yeah, that's why I mentioned this whole thing, the video that we saw and whatnot. So again, it's not only the child that is now missing fingers because of rat bites, it's the children as well that their toes were bitten by rats while they slept, that could potentially now have this disease. infection, whatever the hell you want to call it. Crazy. Wow. Yes, we do have a video. Yes, we do. This is a wevv.com. That is blocked by a blocker. That happens to me a lot. All right, let's see what this says.
First at 5, 3 people are behind bars after what Evansville police are calling one of the most disturbing child neglect cases they've ever investigated.
I'm gonna put it back. I want you to see that face.
First at 5, 3 people are behind bars after what Evansville police are calling one of the most disturbing child neglect cases they've ever investigated. An infant nearly died after being bitten dozens of times by rats. Now, according to Evansville police,
I've never heard anything like this.
In a home filled with trash and animal feces. 44 News reporter Josh Myers has more on this disturbing incident, and we do want to warn you the details are very graphic. Josh?
Yeah, police say that when they arrived at a house on Linwood Avenue, they found a 6-month-old infant with dozens of rat bites and its bassinet covered in blood.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Officers were
What?
called to the home last week by the father of the infant. According to police, the father says he found the infant covered in blood and rat bites at 7 in the morning. According to EPD, the child that was injured suffered a near-death experience. They say the infant had 50 bites on his face, bites on his foot and toes, and bites on his fingers, arm, and hands that exposed bone.
Oh my
According to police,
goodness.
David Schoenebaum has been living at home with his wife Angel Schoenebaum, along with her sister Delana Thurman. Police say that David and Angel had 3 kids living inside the home, and that Delana had moved in with her 2 children. Police say all 5 of the kids were removed from their care
Ironic.
after the incident.
I mean,
I've been on the department almost 20 years now, and that's the first case I've seen of this.
oh
Rats
my
had
God.
basically been feeding on the baby.
Wow, that is insane.
After being taken to the emergency room in Evansville, police say the child had to be flown to Indianapolis for further treatment. They say he was given a blood transfusion at the hospital because of the amount of blood that he lost. All 3 caregivers of the children were arrested on charges of neglecting a dependent and are being held in the Vanderburgh County Jail. David and Angel are being held on $10,000 bond, while Delana's bond is set at $2,500. We're now working to find out the current condition of the infant who was injured. In the meantime, police urge anyone who sees any activity that looks like it could be child neglect to reach out to them so that they can get children out of dangerous situations. Reporting live in Evansville, Josh Myers, 44 News.
I am confused. I am really confused. This is like a horror movie kind of thing. It's just I know that rats like bite people and shit, but not like I've never heard it to the point where they bit through the child to the point of exposing a bone. Was this on purpose? I don't know, man. This is weird. This is a very weird situation. Like, I don't even know what to think, because even with there being like, okay, I understand that the garbage bags could attract the rats, but what kind of rats are these that they're like eating through people? They bit the children's toes while they were sleeping, but they didn't like bite enough to like take the toe off or expose bone. That sounds extremely specific. Like, wow, 50 only on his face. I mean, how many rats were there in a bassinet? Isn't that like something that is like, you have to put the baby? I don't have children, so I don't know. I mean, but I guess it's what I've seen. But you have to put the baby in the middle. So, but how did but rats were just like coming out of the woodwork and going into the bassinet? This is very weird. I'm not buying this shit at all. that they were just like sleeping and they just woke up in the morning and this child was found in this manner. I'm not buying this shit. I don't know if it's maybe that I've seen way too many true crime cases and I'm not like I'm not taking it at face value. Like this is just the information that's being given to us, but this is bullshit. Like there's no possible way. Like come on. I could understand if a kid would have been like bitten a few times and you know, but 50 rat bites only in his face. Like you can make a horror movie out of this. This could well be the scene of an A24 horror movie, and you would be perplexed when you see it. But it's real life. How did all those rats get into one specific place to bite that child in that manner, exposing bones and eating through the child's fingers? 6 months old child, completely defenseless. Really? And you slept through the whole thing? This is, I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Let me know, chat, what you think. What do you think? Do you think this does this not sound fishy to you? Does this not sound like there was an ulterior motive to all this? Because I don't know, man. You can be as dirty as possible, and you can have a rat infestation or whatever, but dude, for them to eat through a human being, a defenseless human being at that, I don't know, I'm not buying it. Hell, I'm even tempted to think that maybe the parents put like food inside of the bassinet. I mean, let's be clear. Like, hold on, like just so we can be on the same page. 'Cause maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I am confused. Okay, so this is what a bassinet looks like. Sorry, it's right above me, so I could move this way. So this is what a bassinet looks like. I there's a lot of parents that watch my show, like, and watch my TikToks and shit. So you guys know what a bassinet is. You know, I don't have kids, so I've never had one. But you mean to tell me that rats went into? But just look at the baby right there. Not the baby that we're talking about of the case, but like look at the baby where it's positioned. This is like the best. It's right in the middle. So you're gonna tell me that rats went into this? Like they went up this to go in here to eat through a 6-month-old child, and they did that just because? Nah, because there's a rat infestation? No, I'm not buying it. Not buying it. Nope. You can't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining. There's no possible way. Even if the bassinet was open, like, God damn it, I have to point better, but even if the bassinet is like this and it's open, the sheer amount, like, how many rats are going to have to come, like, where would they go up through? If they would go up through the legs, fine, I guess I could understand that, but just like, they didn't even hear the baby's cries? You think that the baby couldn't feel what was happening to him? It's a completely defenseless human being. Of course he was crying extremely loud. I don't know, man. This sounds like foul play. I wouldn't even be surprised that they gave the other two children like Benadryl or some shit like that. What's the other one called? The purple one, the kids one, the cough medicine, or sedated the kids some other way with like sleeping pills. Listen, people are fucking crazy. We've seen this in other true crime cases. So it's not as if that it wouldn't be possible, but yeah, this definitely smells like foul play to me. Something's fishy. So, 3 people as well. None of them. Sorry, give me one small sec. I'm gonna take this cat out. Alright, that was unsuccessful. I was not able to take him out. Got under the couch. Alright. Let's move on to the next one. This is insane. We're going to Texas. Title says, prison cellmate beats suspected serial killer and convicted murderer Billy Chemermere to death. Published September 21st, 2023. It's from a True Crime Daily. And it says, a convicted murderer and suspected serial killer died this week after he was reportedly attacked by his cellmate while serving a life sentence in prison. Dallas County District Attorney John Creosote confirmed to WFAA-TV in an interview that Billy Chemermere was beaten to death Tuesday, September 19th, following an argument of sort with his cellmate, who was not named. Creosote said Chemermere could have been stabbed with a pen, but not a knife. The prison was reportedly on lockdown when the incident occurred, but the suspect still managed to drag Chemermere out of their cell and attack him in front of other people. Creosote said other inmates saw it and nobody intervened or called for help. The prison was Chemermere was reportedly on the ground for about 15 to 20 minutes before prison officials found and attempted to revive him, but he had already died. According to Creosote, Chemermere allegedly made an inappropriate comment that was something of a sexual nature to his cellmate, and it was directed at the inmate's children or child. Chemermere was serving 2 life sentences in Texas State Prison, one for killing 87-year-old Mary Brooks and the other for the murder of Lou Ty Harris. Chemermere previously went to trial in connection with 81-year-old Harris's death, but the judge declared a mistrial after the jury deadlocked, NBC DFW reports. Even though he had been convicted of killing 2 elderly women, he was charged with 20 other counts of murder for similar deaths. According to NBC DFW, Chemermere attacked a 91-year-old woman in 2018, but she lived. She told police he attempted to smother her to death, then stole her jewelry. Creosote told WFAA Chemermere was one of the most prolific serial killers in Texas, and it doesn't surprise me that he was killed in prison. Enjoy rotting, you monster. Moving on. We're going to Utah. True Crime Daily. Title says, Utah parenting vlogger's partner allegedly tied 12-year-old with rope, dressed open wound with pepper. Published September 21st, 2023. This is, I guess, part 2 of the one that we read previous. So I guess this is, it's the same parent. This is because I recognize this person. This is in Evans, Utah, and it says a search warrant revealed new allegations against the popular yet controversial parenting vlogger and her mental health counselor business partner after they were arrested last month on suspicion of child abuse. On August 30th at 10:50 a.m., Santa Clara Ivans Police Department officials responded to a call about an emaciated and malnourished juvenile asking for help. Police said the child had open wounds and duct tape around the extremities. While EMS transported the juvenile to a nearby hospital, police learned there were likely other victims. Police found a second juvenile in a similar physical condition of malnourishment. As a result, Santa Clara, Ivans police officers arrested Ruby Frank and Jody Hildebrandt on 6 counts of aggravated child abuse. The two women worked together and even had their own YouTube channel called Moms of Truth with Jody and Ruby. The arrest affidavit, cited by KSL.com, says a 12-year-old boy climbed out of the window of an Ivans residence belonging to Jody Hildebrandt and ran to a neighbor's home. Law enforcement officials reportedly called the boy's injuries severe and said he was placed on a hold at the hospital due to the level of his wounds. Back at Hildebrandt's house, police located the 10-year-old malnourished girl who was reportedly under Hildebrandt's case. According to newly released search warrant shared by KUTV-TV, Frankie, the YouTuber, reportedly put her children in Hildebrandt's care. The 12-year-old boy reportedly told police and other medical officials that the wounds were from the rope that was used to tie the victim to the ground. The boy allegedly informed officers that Jody put the ropes on their ankles and wrists and that they used cayenne pepper and honey to dress the wounds. During the search of Hildebrandt's home, investigators reportedly found a possible safe room that was locked, as well as other evidence including tape, saran wrap, bowls with a red liquid, a rope, 2 handcuffs, and 3 carabiners. Deseret News, which also cites the warrant, reports investigators also discovered cayenne pepper and honey near the medical gauze in Hildebrandt's residence. Frankie's 4 younger children were put into the care of the Utah Division of Child and Family Services. Utah's Division of Professional Licensing published an order saying Hildebrandt shall not practice as a clinical mental health counselor in any way or manner until she reaches a disciplinary agreement with the Division of Professional Licensing. The Salt Lake Tribune reports Utah Department of Commerce Executive Director Margaret Bussey said in a statement, given the heinous abuse allegations, the agency felt that the surrender of the license was the best course of action to protect the safety of Hildebrandt's patients and clients. Both women remain in custody and are being held without bail. Clear example of you don't know who your neighbors are. You just don't know. You don't know. They were vloggers. They were YouTubers. They created content. They had a whole thing. You never know. Dude, she had a separate secret room in the house. Like, who knows how long they were torturing these kids. And how one got the other to participate in this is crazy. If there's one thing that fascinates me, it's not so much cults, but it's the way the person that is the head of the cult is able to manipulate so many people at the same time. Like, I don't understand how someone is able to do that. Obviously, this is to a very, very minimum compared to like a Jim Jones or something like that. But, this is a pretty heinous thing to do to children. And to get someone else to do it with you and agree to it is crazy. So, yeah, definitely part 2. We didn't know that part. I didn't know about that secret room. And we, in the last one, they didn't mention anything about pepper or honey or anything. So, wow. How much of an asshole you have to be to apply cayenne pepper and honey to a wound. Wow, people are out of their minds. That is crazy, though. Like, yeah, people are crazy. People are just like, and they're parents and they reproduce. Dude, they have kids and shit and they vote and, oh, God. We're going to Pennsylvania. True Crime Daily. Title says, Pennsylvania man gets 2 life sentences for kidnapping and fatally stabbing 8-year-old boy almost 150 times. I'm telling you, people are going insane. They're losing their minds. Published September 20th, 2023. This is in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It says, a judge sentenced a 47-year-old man to 2 life sentences in prison for the kidnapping and violent stabbing of his friend's 8-year-old son 4 years ago. Court records show Keith Burley was sentenced to life for first-degree murder and second-degree murder for the death of Marky Mason Jr. following his conviction in August. According to the Newcastle News, the jurors in Lawrence County reached their verdicts in approximately 11 minutes. They also found Burley guilty of 2 counts of kidnapping with intent to inflict injury and 1 count of simple assault. Following the reading of the verdict, Marky's father, Mark Mason Sr., reportedly approached Burley and was restrained by police. Then, Marky's uncle, Abdu Sada, leaped over the banister and tried to run toward Burley, but he was also held back. Similar incidents reportedly occurred during the sentences hearing Tuesday, September 19th. The Newcastle News reports Burley professed his love for Marky's mom, called her husband a disparaging name, and tried to claim he was innocent. On July 8th, 2019, Burley and Marky's mother, Maram Ford, got into an argument and he assaulted her and bit her eye. Burley fled in her car while Marky and his brother were still inside. He reportedly drove them to a house in Union Township and stabbed Marky 146 times in front of his younger brother, who testified at Burley's trial. Burley reportedly represented himself at the trial. Newcastle News reports Lawrence County President Judge Dominic Moto said at the sentencing hearing, "I think the evidence of guilt was overwhelming." 146 times, huh? Wow. And I even think 11 minutes was long. Too much of a long time. There was 10 minutes of deliberation in there. That shit should have been like 3 minutes tops. Yeah. There's a few videos on YouTube. And it's like, it's just like, sorry. Oh my goodness. A little bit of sweet justice. Just a little bit. Just a tad. When parents do jump that banister and beat the shit out of the people that cause harm. Like that one dude that fucking flies over the banister and he flies over a banister. I don't know what the hell it is. And he like jumps over the table and he's able to like land a few punches. You can tell that the police officers were like, they were restraining him, but they weren't really restraining him. It was like a kind of situation because you can tell that they were holding him just for that brief 30 seconds. They were holding him, but they weren't like, oh, like they were like grabbing him. They're like, no, stop. But you could tell that they were in their minds. They were like, dude, you get another one in. Just like, right, suck him right there. There's a few of those videos online, and again, that doesn't change anything. Actually, that could even make the situation worse because it's assault and whatnot, but it's just that little moment of sweet revenge, just like sweet justice that you can take into your own hands. It's not all cases, but it does happen a lot. And I've seen it happen a lot in different videos that I've seen on YouTube and whatnot. There's actually a compilation. I think A&E does it. Very satisfying to watch. Very satisfying because the cases are normally like really, really bad cases. And the one I was talking about at first of the father is that sort of beats the dude up, but they kind of restrain him. It's a big black dude. Killed his son. And the person that killed his son smiles at him. And yeah, that fuse was lit. And it was great to watch. It was great to watch. I'm not even gonna lie. I kind of hope, I wish that they would have at least been able to get one, just one before being separated because it was both the father of the child and the uncle that tried to beat the dude up while during the court. Yeah. 8-year-old. In front of his brother. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Is this a video? Wow. A lot of the cases, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm gonna confess something. A lot of the cases here on True Crime Daily, which I'm not complaining about the website, I'm just like, it's where we read the information from, like all the articles and whatnot. But dude, there's a lot of fucking cases involving children. Like, oh my god. If you go back to like my other live streams, like I don't have a live stream that does not have at least 3 or 4 cases that have to do with a child. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Alright, let's go to Denver. True Crime Daily. Title says, Denver woman shoots 5 people after she was reportedly denied entry at a bar. Published September 20th, 2023. Denver, Colorado. And this says, police are searching for a woman who fired several shots outside of a lower downtown bar after she reportedly could not get in because she was allegedly using someone else's ID. On Saturday, September 16th, at approximately 11:15 p.m., Denver police responded to the 1900 block of Market Street regarding a shooting. According to police, 5 people were standing outside a bar when an unidentified female shot them. KDVR-TV reports the shooting occurred at Whiskey Row, a gastropub and bar in the city's lower downtown neighborhood that's owned by country singer Dierks Bentley. Denver police reportedly said the suspect attempted to get into the bar with someone else's license, but security would not let her in. Denver Public Safety Executive Director Armando Saldate told KDVR there seemed to be some sort of confrontation or a fight over that verbal altercation, at which she produced a handgun that was concealed on her person and started shooting. Police reportedly think the woman may have been shooting towards the security personnel. The 5 victims were all taken to the hospital and are expected to survive. The Denver Police Department is offering up to $2,000 as a reward for identifying the suspect, who was seen wearing a black long-sleeved shirt, black shorts, and blue and high-top sneakers. This is a picture of the person. If you watch the show and you live in Denver, Colorado, and you know who this person is, dude, call the cops. Make that money. $2,000, that's like rent right there for 1 month. And just to be 100% clear, it's not snitching if it's this type of situation. So definitely call the cops if you know this person. Can't really see her face though. But luckily, there is a news report. So hopefully they'll either have a more clear picture of the person or they'll have a video. Okay, so there is a video, but it's on top of my head.
After not
shooting that happened just into our newsroom of a Denver person, or a person in Denver, I should say, police say is wanted for questioning in connection with the shooting that happened in Lodo.
Yeah, Vicente Arenas found out the woman was allegedly upset after not being allowed into a bar. He has the details here. It's up.
Yeah, as we continue to take a look at that picture, this is the person that Denver police say they're looking for. In one, you can see a shot of her face, and in the other, you can see a gun in a hand. This is the person that police believe was involved in the shooting in Lodo over the weekend.
It was late Saturday night, around 11:15, when the shooting broke out in front of the Whiskey Row bar in Lodo. Denver police say the shots rang out after a female suspect was not allowed into a bar, trying to use an ID that did not belong to her.
There seemed to be some sort of confrontation. She produced the handgun that was concealed on her person.
and started shooting.
Armando Saldate says she may have been trying to shoot towards security personnel working at the bar. 5 people who were not intended targets were hit with non-life-threatening injuries. Saldate says 2 off-duty officers were working at the bar and other on-duty police were in the area. The shooting comes after another back in June, just a block away, that injured several people. DPD has in the past come up with strategies to address large party crowds in the area filled with clubs and bars.
We do know that police presence is a deterrent to criminal behavior. However, it's not the be-all, end-all.
Denver City Council member Chris Hines says more must be done to make the area safer.
We need to make sure that we have adequate police force throughout our city.
Hines said both long-term and tactical strategies that help people experiencing mental health issues and addiction are needed. But he says for now, more police are part of the answer.
We have a staffing amount that we want for our city and for our police department, and we're understaffed.
The search is on now for the person believed to have hurt the 5 victims here in Lodo on Saturday night.
And today we heard from a spokesman from the Whiskey Row Bar telling us that they're concerned about the security issues here in Lodo, but that they're grateful for the swift response from Denver police. Speaking of Denver police, today the city council heard the mayor ask for millions of dollars more to hire additional police to bring the department up to full staffing levels. In Lodo, I'm Vicente Arenas, 2 Prime News.
Wow, people are quick to draw a gun, huh? Crazy. They didn't let her in, so her course of action was to take her gun out. Wow. Wow. Audacious. Audacious. Not very smart, though. She didn't realize there were cameras everywhere. It's kind of like what private establishments have anyway. So your image, like your picture, is all around social media now. So like I'm chopping this shit up and I'm putting this on TikTok. So mind you, it's not like I have millions of followers, but like people watch. I'm not the only person talking about this case. So now you have a whole bunch of people posting your picture on it on TikTok. They'll probably post it on Instagram too. So now you're all over social media because of some dumb shit that you did that could have easily been avoided if you would have just had your own license. See, that's a thing that people I don't know, and this is grown adults do this shit. Grown adults tend to make their problems your problem. Bro, if you did not have a license, why did you go out? Like, that's your problem, but that's not what she thought. See, she thought that because they didn't let her in, it's now our problem. And I mean our, but I'm talking about the people that are there. And obviously the victims that were shot up were not expecting to be shot up that night, because they just went out to have a great time. And because, you know, this individual didn't get her way, she decided to shoot up the place. All right. Yeah. It's not anyone's problem though. Like, I don't get it. Why make it someone else's issue? It's not their problem. Just go home. That's it. It's over. You didn't get in. Like, how good of a place does it have to be for you to want to have to shoot up people to want to get in there? Like, what did you think was going to happen? They were just going to let you in because you took a gun out? What is this, the Wild Wild West? Come on now. Not very smart. Not a very smart person. Not a very smart person, and I'm not going to go down the route, and it can't be every single person in the world. It can't be every single human being that has a mental problem. That's like, it thins out the meaning, and it doesn't have the same, strength behind it. The words don't mean anything, because if everyone has it, then why even talk about it? Nah, man, it's just people that are just fucking assholes, dude. And she's a clear example of it. She is a person that has probably gotten her way, her whole life. It's a lot of people that are like that. She's gone away her whole life. She just thought, hey, I'm not getting my way now. I'm going to get my way somehow. And she drew a gun. She wanted that smoke. That's not anything about mental health or anything. That's just a straight up asshole. And I hope she's found and I hope she gets locked up. I hope someone calls in the cops and gets those $2,000. At least pay their rent or take themselves out to eat or something a few times. Get some new clothing or something. On the back of someone doing something stupid and the cops trying to catch this person. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Sounds like a pretty good deal. I would cash that money in so quick. It's not even funny. I don't care about that. You did something, you pay, bro. You need to pay for that shit. And I will get paid for it. I will get paid for telling on you. Alrighty. We're going to Georgia. True Crime Daily. Title says, cold case of 9-year-old girl who was kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed solved 51 years later. September 20th, 2023 was when this was posted. And we're going to Marietta. And it says, detectives have solved a 51-year-old cold case involving the kidnapping, rape, and murder of a 9-year-old girl who went missing while walking home. On January 13th, 1972, Debbie Randall never returned home from a laundromat that was about half a block from her residence. According to the Cobb County District Attorney's Office, the sole clue was some spilled detergent. 16 days later, Southern Regional Technical College students found Randall's body near Windy Hill and Powers Ferry Road in Marietta. The District Attorney's Office said she had been strangled to death after her abduction and assault. Marietta police processed the scene and gathered evidence near her body, but leads came up empty. The case eventually went cold. In 2015, the Cobb County Cold Case Unit reopened the case by sending a piece of cloth found on Randall's body to a lab for updated DNA analysis. Cobb County District Attorney Flynn Brody said at a press conference the DNA found on the cloth generated a partial profile for an unknown male. Over time, investigators located some of the suspect's descendants. Family members provided investigators with DNA samples for comparison, and it matched the DNA found on Randall's body. The Cobb County District Attorney's Office identified the suspect as William Rose. He was 24 years old at the time of the crime and committed suicide in 1974. After receiving DNA from his family members, officials exhumed Rose's body and confirmed he was the killer. Rose reportedly knew people who lived in Randall's apartment complex. Randall's parents both died before the case came to a close. Brody said at the news conference, "The answer we are providing today will not bring her back. We can't extract justice from the perpetrator, but I know he must answer to a higher power. I hope the answer will provide some relief and answer the question that has lingered for more than 50 years." Not the sweet justice that I would have loved, but nonetheless gives closure to the family and they're able to move on. If you've watched the show, you know how much I love and enjoy when perpetrators live out their lives and they commit like murders and horrendous things back when technology wasn't as advanced as it is today, and they think that they're just gonna get away with it. They live their lives. A lot of them have kids, like they marry and have children. They live their lives. They have businesses. They have all of these things, and it's like one day they get that knock at the door because investigators were able to crack the cold case that's just been sitting there for decades, and they take him into jail. Him or her, whatever the case. Take them into jail, and they get to serve the rest of their lives in prison. Oh, beautiful. That is sweet, sweet, sweet justice. Chef's kiss. We're going to Cincinnati. True Crime Daily. Title says, a Cincinnati mother, great-grandmother, accused of starving 3 young children. Published September 19th, 2023. And it says, a woman and her grandmother face multiple charges after 3 children under the age of 7 were hospitalized due to severe malnutrition. Records show 26-year-old Hannah Johnson was charged with 6 counts of endangering children and 3 counts of kidnapping, while her grandmother, 72-year-old Diana Johnson, faces 3 counts of endangering children. According to WLWT-TV, Cincinnati police responded to a residence on Halsey Avenue in the city's Sedumsville neighborhood after someone called to report a foul odor coming from the home. When officers arrived, police were told it was just a dead raccoon. Police, however, reportedly did not see any of the kids while at the house. Once they left, Hannah Johnson reportedly drove her 3 children to her mother's house in Tennessee. WXIX-TV reports the children are 7, 6, and 4 years old. Once they got to Tennessee, Hannah Johnson's mother reportedly took the children to the hospital for treatment. They all weighed less than 30 pounds. Jail records show Hannah Johnson's bond is set at $25,000, but Diana Johnson is still waiting to be arraigned. 30 pounds. That is insane. So in most cases, I wrote normal weight for a 7-year-old boy. So it says in most cases, boys' weight measurements for this age group, 7 years old, will lie within the range between 39.9 and 70.9 pounds. The average weight measurement for this age group is 50.6 pounds. So the child was literally 20 some odd pounds less than the medium normal weight that a 7-year-old child should have. Let's see a 4-year-old. For a 4-year-old, it says from 30 to 44. So I guess that child was at a normal weight, but the 7 and 6-year-old, yeah, that incredibly malnutrition and wow, it's just why? But what is it with doing these things to children? I don't understand. It's why even have them? Why do this? But it's so weird. Okay, let's check out this video real quick. I don't know why it's like this.
2 women now behind bars accused of actually starving 3 young children nearly to death.
They all weighed less than 30 pounds when their grandmother rushed them to the hospital. Prosecutors say that the children are ages 4, 6, and 7, and all lived in Sedumsville with their mother, Hannah Johnson, and great-grandmother, Diana Johnson, along with a 4th child. Now, police say that 4th child is healthy. Both Johnsons were booked into the Hamilton County Jail in the past day. They are still there tonight.
No! Sorry about that. That was loud. Let me see this one. Maybe this one gives a little bit more info.
Now, a mother and grandmother, they are facing charges after investigators say...
This is Fox19.com. Title says, Mom, great-grandmother indicted on child endangering charges for starving 3 children. Prosecutor's office says.
3 children nearly died of starvation.
Jessica Schmidt has some new information on the case from the Alert Desk.
Yeah, this may be tough to hear. Hannah Johnson, described as the mother of the victims, is facing 6 counts of endangering children and 3 counts of kidnapping. Diana Johnson, the paternal grandmother of the victims, is facing 3 counts of endangering children. A grand jury indicted both of them today. Prosecutors say Hannah, Diana, and Hannah's 3 kids, ages 4, 6, and 7, all live together. Cincinnati police went out to their home after getting a report of a suspicious odor. Police say they didn't see the children and were told there was a dead raccoon under the porch, so they left. After that, prosecutors say Hannah took off with the kids, went to her mother's house in Tennessee. When Hannah's mother saw the children, we're told she took them to the hospital right away. Prosecutors say they all weighed less than 30 pounds and were so malnourished they were near death. The prosecutors say the children will have to be hospitalized for months. Jail records show that Diana and Hannah have not been booked into the jail, at least not yet. At the Alert Desk, Jessica Schmidt, Fox 19 Now.
Thanks, Jeff.
I wonder if because if they're malnutrition, they didn't give a shit about the kids. I wonder if the odor, that foul odor that the cops smelled were the kids, because they just said that the whole dead raccoon thing to the cops to get them to go away. But I mean, it sounds like bullshit. If after saying it, she just like ran from the house with the kids. So what if the conditions of living of those children was so bad that they were in fact the ones that had that incredibly foul odor to them? It's not. It wouldn't be anything surprising. What was it? Episode 2 of KAS True Crime. We saw a case of that, like the House of Horrors. I actually have one of the videos that are on the YouTube channel for the true crime that you are currently watching this stream on. One of the videos is called Something Out of a Horror Movie, and that explains the conditions that they were, not them, not this case, but another set of parents that had children, and their kids were living in like feces and urine. Like, there was like poop on the walls and shit, and they had like they were living in squalor and filth to like the maximum degree. The walls, like the windows were all boarded up and whatnot. It was really bad. So it wouldn't be very surprising to me if this is what like that the foul odor that the police encountered was in fact the children. Wow, these parents, dude. They have children, they reproduce a lot. God, it's so insane to me. Like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm child free, but wow, just like having a kid is like just like hard enough as it is. Like, let alone the fact that you have to raise them and whatnot. But then, you know, the kids don't choose to their parents, but like life deals these cards to these kids that are just so fucking horrible, man. I'm so grateful. Oh man, to have had parents that didn't do any of these things and were able to give me like a good childhood, and I'm grateful to that. And especially, dude, reading all these true crime cases when it has to do with the kids, like, wow, I'm so grateful to my parents for being the way they were with me, because I could have easily had parents like this. Any of us could have. It's not lost to any of us being in a situation that like potentially having been in a situation like this. You don't pick your parents, you know. Ugh, wow. All right, we're going to Washington, D.C. Title says, D.C. teen arrested for allegedly fatally shooting 10-year-old on Mother's Day. True Crime Daily, published September 18th, 2023. And this says, police arrested a 19-year-old male following a months-long investigation relating to the shooting death of a 10-year-old girl. Metropolitan D.C. Police announced Monday, September 18th, that Coran Gregory was arrested on a charge of first-degree murder while armed in connection with Ariana Davis's killing. On May 14th, Mother's Day, police were called to the 3700 block of Hay Street Northeast after receiving reports about shots fired. Responding officers didn't see any victims at the scene, but then learned a 10-year-old had been taken to a local fire station for assistance. She was taken to a hospital in grave condition and died 3 days later. According to police, Davis was in the car with her family when a bullet struck her. Investigators identified Gregory as the suspect after people came forward with videos and other information. Several weeks after her death, a funeral home owner was arrested and charged after he allegedly shot and killed a 30-year-old man at Davis's funeral. The victim, Ronald Banks, was reportedly a pallbearer at the girl's ceremony. According to Prince George's County Police, the director, Wilson Chavis, allegedly confronted Banks and another person with whom he has a long-standing business dispute because they own another funeral home. People at the funeral reportedly became upset with Chavis and confronted him over his behavior. Then, Chavis allegedly opened fire, killing Banks and striking a female. He was arrested following a traffic stop on charges of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, attempted first-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, and other related charges. Wow. That is insane. So not only did it happen to her, like this, not only did it kill her, but at her own funeral, then there was another shooting. Wow. There's no video to this. Damn. Wishing the family peace during this horrible time. That is insane. We're going to Georgia. True Crime Daily. Title says, 6 arrested for allegedly holding woman captive and starving her, then leaving body in trunk. Published September 18th, 2023. This is in Duluth, Georgia. And it says, 6 people were arrested last week in connection with the death of a woman who had recently moved to the United States from South Korea, believing she was joining a religious group but was held captive and starved instead. On September 12th, at approximately 10:50 p.m., Gwinnett County Police Department officers were called to 3555 Gwinnett Place Drive after a man called 911 to report finding a dead body in a trunk. Gwinnett County Police detectives allege 26-year-old Eric Hune drove a silver sedan and parked it at the Gwinnett Place Drive location, which WAGA-TV reports is a 24-hour Korean spa. Hune then contacted a relative to pick him up and take him to an Atlanta hospital for unrelated injuries. When Hune and the family member got to the hospital, he reportedly asked the relative to retrieve a personal item for him from within the vehicle. The person returned to the car and found the body when he opened the trunk. Detectives executed a search warrant at a residence on Stable Gate in Lawrenceville and recovered evidence. Investigators believe the crime occurred in the basement. Gwinnett police shared photos of the basement and redacted several aspects of it due to visible blood. According to Gwinnett County Police, the victim, who was not named, came to the United States to join a religious group called the Soldiers of Christ. The statement said she was subjected to beatings and malnourished for weeks. The medical examiner's office said the victim presumably died from malnourishment. She reportedly weighed 70 pounds when police found her body in the trunk. In a news conference, Gwinnett County Police Captain Juan Madiedo said the victim was a female in her 20s to mid-30s and likely died at the end of August. Madiedo said she might have been in the vehicle for a few days. Gwinnett police arrested Hune along with Gawam Lee and Junho Lee, both 26, 22-year-old Junhyun Lee, 25-year-old Hyunji Lee, and 15-year-old Jungyoung Lee. They are all being charged with felony murder, false imprisonment, tampering with evidence, and concealing the death of another. Damn. Let's see.
5.
This is suspects arrested after body found in car trunk outside Atlanta spa. This is updates from police. I'm guessing this is 11 Alive. I don't know where this is from. 11 Alive is where Atlanta speaks. So this is a news report from ATL, home of great food and great music. But that's not the case here. Let's watch this police update. We're not going to see the whole thing. It's 7 minutes long. We'll watch a little bit, at least get a little explanation from the Leo here.
That 5 individuals, 5 adults, and 1 juvenile have been charged in connection with the death of that female in that trunk. Detectives charged all individuals with felony murder, false imprisonment, tampering with evidence, and concealing the death of another. Detectives believe that Eric was the driver of the vehicle. Eric apparently parked the vehicle at the location earlier that day. He subsequently called a family member to come pick him up. That family member picked him up and took him to an Atlanta area hospital where he was treated for injuries unrelated. Eric then called or told that family member to retrieve an item from the vehicle, and that's when the family member went back and discovered the body in the trunk.
Damn, he set that person up so that that person could take the fall, or at the very minimum be involved in it. So yeah, not only did he do whatever he did to, or they did that to that poor woman, they also, that guy also wanted to get a family member involved. Wow, just pure evil all around.
He subsequently called 911 and detectives began investigating. The investigation led to a series of search warrants being executed, one in particular at Lawrenceville location of residence. That search warrant yielded substantial evidence to charge the individuals for the crime. During the course of the investigation, it is believed that the basement was the location where the crime took place. Detectives believe that the victim was brought over from South Korea sometime in the summer under the guise or under what she thought to believe be joining a religious organization. They called themselves Soldiers of Christ. Apparently the victim was subjected to beatings, malnourishment, which subsequently resulted in what the medical examiner's office believes the cause of her death. The victim was about 70 pounds when she was discovered by detectives. The family is still in South Korea and death notification has not been made.
Damn.
Detectives want to thank the sheriff's office along with the district attorney's office who assisted in the investigation. I'll open it up for any questions.
Mind you, this was published, the video, September 14th, 2023, so it was probably like 2 weeks ago. 6, 8, yeah. Probably like a week and a half ago, maybe 2, so probably the family already knows. I'm not going to go into the questions portion because the common theme is they can't answer any questions because it's still an ongoing investigation, and it's just, I'm not going to waste my time listening to that. Oh, God. It's a carpet. This cat just thinks it's a scratching post. It's crazy. Alrighty, we'll read a few more and then end the stream for tonight. We're going to Massachusetts. Massachusetts mom indicted on murder charges for allegedly killing her 3 young kids. True Crime Daily, published September 15th, 2023. This is in Duxbury, Massachusetts, and it says, a grand jury returned indictments for a 32-year-old woman accused of fatally strangling her 3 young children this year. In a statement Friday, September 15th, Plymouth County District Attorney Tim Cruz announced Lindsay Clancy as being charged with 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of strangulation for the deaths of 5-year-old Cora Clancy, 3-year-old Dawson Clancy, and 8-month-old Callan Clancy. Cruz said Lindsay Clancy is being held without bail at a medical facility and is receiving treatment. On January 24th at approximately 6:11 p.m., Duxbury Police Department officers responded to a home on Summer Street after a man called to report a suicide attempt involving an adult female who jumped out of a window. When officers and paramedics arrived, they located Clancy and transported her to a nearby hospital. Then, first responders found 3 children unconscious with obvious signs of trauma. Cora and Dawson were taken to Beth Israel Deaconess Hospital, where they were pronounced deceased. Medics flew Callan to a hospital in Boston, where he died several days later. Cruz said the office of the chief medical examiner determined Cora and Dawson died from asphyxia, while Callan's cause of death was complication of asphyxia. Court documents cited by Boston.com say Patrick Clancy found his wife after he returned home from picking up food. When he asked where their children were, his wife reportedly responded in the basement. Lindsay Clancy allegedly used exercise bands to strangle her 3 children. I'll be honest with you, dude. This shit chips at your heart a little bit. I'm not even gonna fucking lie. It's like a little chip. Cause wow, I'm like, and then it's like, dude, they put, fuck, dude. They put like the picture of like I don't like. Man, just put the picture of like the perpetrator, like, so we can hate on the perpetrator, but bro, don't like, dude. And it's like a picture of like the baby and shit, like, oh man. Ugh. His titles. We'll do. We'll do a few more, like 3 or 4 more. I'm sorry. It's just that it's like, wow, dude. It's the absolute depravities of human beings and the things that they do is just like, it's crazy. Like, it's like, you want to have a little bit of faith in humanity, but this completely strips that away with how horrendous this is. It's like, wow, man. It's fucking insane, dude. All right, we're going to Delaware. Title says, Delaware mom sentenced for abusing 3-year-old daughter to death. Leaving Burns remains in field. True Crime Daily. September 15th, 2023 was when this was posted. And this, we're going to Smyrna, Delaware. It says, a judge sentenced a 31-year-old woman to 3 decades in prison in connection with the beating death of her daughter, whose remains were found on a softball field. The Delaware News Journal reports Christy Haas received the 30-year sentence Thursday, September 14th, for abusing and killing 3-year-old Emma Grace Cole. In addition, a judge ordered Haas to probation for abusing her other children. She pleaded guilty in May to murder by abuse or neglect, 3 counts of endangering the welfare of a child, and 1 count of abuse of a corpse. She and her husband, Brandon Haas, were indicted in April 2021 on charges of child abuse and endangering the welfare of a child. A month later, the Delaware Attorney General's office charged Christy Haas with murder. According to the Associated Press, Haas apologized at her sentencing hearing for all the hurt that I inflicted and the pain that I caused, adding, I knew everything was wrong, and I was so messed up because of everything I did. I thought I could get away with it, to be honest. On September 13th, 2019, Smyrna police were called to the Little Lass softball field after receiving a report about human remains being found. Officials were unable to positively identify Emma until a year later because her body had been burned. The Delaware News Journal reported Haas abused her daughter by hitting her with objects such as a spatula and purse and made her carry heavy weights. The child was reportedly denied food and suffered from intentional suffocation. In the news release announcing the indictments of both of Emma's parents, the Delaware Attorney General's office said they deprived Emma of sufficient food and needed medical attention and subjected Emma and her siblings to excessive forced exercise and inappropriate physical discipline. According to the Associated Press, Brandon Haas was sentenced to 4 years and 1 month in prison after he previously pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of endangering the welfare of a child and 3 misdemeanor counts of the same charge. It's fucking bad parents, bro. Stop having kids, dude. Just stop. Stop. Cut it out. Stop it. Stop it. You not everyone is meant for parenting. Not everyone is meant for this. Just gotta be honest with yourself. Like, though, if you never want it kind of seems like you didn't want the child. It's a recurring theme in a lot of these cases that we read. It kind of seems like these parents, they didn't want the kid in the first place, but then they make these children suffer and they do horrendous things to them. It's like, but why even have them? Why? Monsters, dude. Just like complete monsters, man. We're fucking surrounded by them. We're going to Kentucky. True Crime Daily. Title says Kentucky woman allegedly left mom on the floor for weeks after she fell, leading to her death. Published September 14th, 2023. This is in Somerset, Kentucky. And it says, a 67-year-old woman died after her daughter left her on the floor for several weeks and allegedly refused to call for help when she fell. Abra McDonald, 49, was indicted September 8th for knowingly abusing or neglecting an adult in connection with her mother's fall and subsequent death in June. According to the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office, on June 27th, deputies responded to Karen McDonald's home and transported her to a hospital after learning she had been in the same spot on the floor where she had fallen several weeks prior. Karen McDonald died the next day due to the physical trauma she sustained. Investigators learned the deceased had lived with her daughter, Abra McDonald. The sheriff's office alleges the daughter made no attempts for several weeks to contact someone to assist her mother in getting up from the floor, despite having cellular phone service and nearby neighbors. The house also reportedly did not have running water. According to WKYT-TV, sepsis and other causes of neglect led to Karen McDonald's death. Detective Lieutenant Matt Bryant told WKYT she did supply her with some food, things like that, but leaving her in the floor was the most detrimental to her health. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office said McDonald's bond is set at $250,000. What a bitch, bro. She gave her food, but she never helped her get up to the point where she ended up dying because of that. She willingly went and gave her food because she knew. It's not like she could play dumb and say that she didn't know that her mom was in that situation. She took her food. So she either made the food or bought it. Went to the home, if she didn't already live there. Opened the door. Went in, sat next to her mother, who was still on the floor, and gave her food. Got up and left, or left to another room if she lived in the house, because we don't know. That's wow. That's another level of horrible. Holy crap, that is insane. That's wow, you're just being an intentional bitch. And I mean, like, bitch, there are plenty of men that are bitches. So it's not like only, I'm not saying it because it's a woman in this case. I mean, this is just like a bitch attitude, period, regardless of it being a man or a woman. So this is WKYT.com. Title says Kentucky woman facing charges in mother's death, accused of leaving her on the floor for weeks. So who knows if that person was on the floor laying there for 2 weeks? 14 days not being able to get up. Probably soiling herself there. She can't go to the bathroom. Bro. You know how depraved you have to be to see your mother, the person who housed you rent-free for 9 months, gave you food and love. You were nurtured inside of a womb, rent-free, 9 months. But it was just 30? Some shit like that. For 30 some odd years was your parent. And you literally just allowed that person to just wither and die because you didn't help her get up.
49-year-old Abra McDonald is facing these charges, being held here in the Pulaski County Jail after she was indicted on charges in relation to her own mother's death. 67-year-old Karen McDonald, who died the day after she finally received medical treatment after she had been on the floor of her home for 2 weeks.
She really didn't have any reasonable explanation. I think upon reflection she realized she should have done something more. For her mother,
I don't think so.
Deputies were called to the home on June 27th, and that's when they say they found the 67-year-old woman on the floor. She was taken to Lake Cumberland Hospital, where she died the next day.
there were several contributing factors that were listed on the autopsy report and on the death certificate. The main cause was sepsis, secondary to some other causes, as well as substantial neglect of her being left in the floor.
A Pulaski County grand jury returned an indictment Friday, and McDonald will answer to the charges September 21st.
It is very sad. It's very,
yesterday.
Very troubling, very difficult to understand.
And knowingly abusing or neglecting an adult is a Class C felony, punishable in Kentucky by 5 to 10 years in prison. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
I hope she never gets out of jail. I'll pay my tax money for that. There's certain cases that all I can think is like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'll pay taxes for that. I'll pay taxes to keep this person in jail. This person can't be out. They are a danger to society and should be locked up forever. Yeah, that person is one of them. Humanity doesn't need this running around. Any of these, to be quite honest with you. Wow. And you don't even know who it is. It could be your neighbor, dude. It could be a family member. It could be, dude. I follow this TikTok account, and it's this woman, and she is, dude, looking for her father, and her father is like a huge dude, like pedophile in like Florida and shit. He's like a high like most wanted, some shit like that. It's like really, really bad. He's like 50 plus victims. Yeah, like you don't even know who it is. It can be anyone, and that's scary. That's what scares me the most, man. Because, dude, you could befriend someone, and you don't really know who the hell you're befriending. You don't know who the person is. You know their past. Human beings are scary as fuck, dude. They're really scary. It doesn't even matter the perspective that you want to see it from. They're really, it's like, goddamn, especially with all the things that human beings are capable of doing for the stupidest reasons, like for the most illogical reasons. Ugh, fuck, dude. All right. We'll do 2 more tonight. We are going to Minnesota. True Crime Daily. Title says St. Paul teen accused of assaulting, waterboarding, and holding girlfriend captive in dorm room. Published September 14th, 2023. This is in St. Paul. And it says, a 19-year-old man is facing several charges after he allegedly sexually assaulted, tortured, and kept his girlfriend against her will in her dorm room for several days. According to the criminal complaint cited by Minnesota Public Radio. On Thursday, September 7th, Keanu Labate reportedly went to his girlfriend's dorm room at St. Catherine University and saw photos on her phone that infuriated him. Labate allegedly took the phone and proceeded to punch, choke, rape, and threaten her. The court documents allege when Labate choked the victim, she was unable to breathe, felt lightheaded, and saw stars while being strangled. She thought she was going to die. Labate allegedly told her he would kill her family too. At another point, Labate allegedly waterboarded his girlfriend by making her go into the bathtub, covering her face with a washcloth, and pouring water on her. Then he reportedly picked up a knife and held her arm and said he was looking for the right vein to cut deep enough so no one could save her. According to Minnesota Public Radio, Labate moved the victim's mattress to the floor to prevent others from hearing the bed squeaking during their sexual assaults. The Twin Cities Pioneer Press reports on Sunday, September 10th, she managed to convince Labate to let her leave her room and go to the dining hall. Labate reportedly made her take pictures of the dining hall to prove she was there. She was ultimately able to alert the school's public safety officials, who then contacted the St. Paul Police Department. The victim reportedly had bruises and other marks on her neck. While at the hospital, the victim told a nurse during a sexual assault exam that Labate punched her in the stomach, throat, and face. When police searched the victim's room, They reportedly found a knife and a wet washcloth. Levady was arrested on charges of 3 counts of first-degree sexual conduct, 1 count of domestic assault by strangulation, and 1 count of threats of violence. He is being held at the Ramsey County Jail with bail set at $80,000. Should be $800,000. And he should be held at the Ramsey County Jail for life. This is a threat to society. This face, let's look at this face. Let's look at it. This piece of shit is a threat to society. Men like him are threats to society and should be locked away. Period, point blank. We don't need this shit. And I'm saying this from the perspective from a man coming from the mouth of the horse himself. We don't need these type of men in the world. Because if this guy goes out, he's going to do the same thing again. He's going to find another victim. And if he is not kept in prison, we are for sure going to read another case down the road. And this face is going to pop up again. And it's not going to be pretty. Because it's going to be him doubling down. Can't let this person out. You can try rehabilitation, blah, 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 whatever you want. But if that shit don't work, keep him in there. Again, I'll agree for my tax money to go to housing this monster and keeping him locked up. It's in the eyes. Look at those eyes, though. There's nothing there. There's nothing behind that. There's nothing behind it but hate. And that should not have the opportunity to run around causing more harm to people. No video. You know, that's what happened with Charles Manson. He did say it many, many times. Don't let me out. Don't let me out. Don't let me out. What do? They bailed him. Let him out. They released him. Still his fault. But, yeah, they released him and... yeah. Alright. And we all know what happened after that. Last case of the night. We are going to Knoxville. True Crime Daily. It says Tennessee man pleads out after threatening Little Caesars employees with AK-47 because he had to wait for a pizza. Published September 14th, 2023. And it says, a man entered a plea last month relating to an incident in which he threatened Little Caesars employees with an automatic rifle because his pizza order was taking too long. WBIR-TV reports Charles Doty Jr. appeared in court August 23rd and entered a blind plea to 4 counts of aggravated assault, which means the judge will set the sentence rather than follow a recommendation from the Knox County District Attorney's Office. At approximately 9 p.m. on November 5th, 2021, Dottie went to the Little Caesars on Cedar Bluff Road and ordered a pepperoni pizza, according to WATE-TV. Dottie reportedly became upset when the fast food restaurant's employee informed him it would take about 10 minutes to prepare the pizza. He asked for free breadsticks, then went outside and retrieved an AK-47 from his vehicle. When he re-entered the eatery, he reportedly threatened the employees and asked for his pizza immediately. One of the employees told WATE that Dottie demanded, "Where is my pizza? I want my pizza now." Another employee who was there said it wasn't even a 10-minute wait when he came in with a gun. If he would not have come in with the gun and waited another 2, maybe 3 minutes, it would have already been boxed and in his hands. Dottie reportedly threatened one of the workers who tried to leave, so that person went into another room and called the police. Dottie will be sentenced September 29th. Stupid motherfucker. What did you think was gonna happen, dude? What did you think was gonna happen, though? Like, these men are so stupid. WBIR.com. Man accused in November 2021 of pointing AK-47 at pizza store employees pleads guilty to aggravated assault. This man looks confused in life.
New tonight, a man charged with pointing a gun at employees at a Little Caesars pizza store pleaded guilty in court today. It happened in 2021 at the Cedar Bluff location. Records show Charles Doty Jr. brought an AK-47 into that store after employees told him his pizza would take 10 minutes to make. Today, that suspect pleaded guilty to 4 counts of aggravated assault. He is due back in court at the end of the month, and that is where he will learn how long he's going to serve in jail.
Dude, for a pizza from Little Caesars, not even like a traditional pizza, wood roast, like oven, like wood oven roasted, whatever the fuck it is, baked in there. No. This is a Little Caesars pizza, like pizza. And my man did not want to wait those 10 minutes, and yeah, decided to go get his AK-47. What is happening? What is happening? What is happening? Is it the inaccessibility to, like, mental health? Is it the fact that healthcare is so fucking impossible to afford in this country, and the list of jobs that are giving health insurance is declining pretty quickly? The list's getting pretty short. What is it? Can't be politics, because this shit's been going on since mankind has been around. It's just that now we have the internet and we're better communicated, so we get to see these things and we get to be informed about what's going on, like, right on the spot. But I can't quite put my finger on what is happening in the world that this is the end result of it. Like, are people losing their minds? Are parents losing their minds? Like, what is happening? What is happening when 6 out of 10 cases that we read are about parents doing shit to kids? Like, what is this world coming to? I don't know, man. This is insane.